asking, is Pharaoh still existing? As he born, resembling an Israelite, not being treated right, enslaved day and night. Oh, we just can't go on this way. We just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go on this way. We like the Israelites still in vain. We just can't go on this way. So send us another Moses again. We just can't go on this way. Oh, 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 oh. Lord, look around, you'll see the Pharaoh mentality ruling universally. Leaders promoting their ego, being a modern Pharaoh, tyrannies they manifest. We just can't go on this way. We just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go on this way. Time to make them oppressors pay. We just can't go on this way. So we children could see their way. We just can't go on this way. Oh, 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 oh. No, 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 no. The poor have to slave night and day for next to nothing pay, so they can't see their way. We don't enjoy equal facility like Pharaoh and company. Brainwashing we say we free. We just can't go on this way. We just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go on this way. Time to make them oppressors pay. We just can't go on this way. So the children could see their way. We just can't go on this way. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, we just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go on this way. We just can't go on. We just can't go on this way. No, we just can't go on. We just can't go on this way. No, we just can't go on. We just can't go on this way. No, we just can't go on. Oh Lord, why Lord must we suffer like this? You said that you would take care of the poor, just like you did in Egypt. When Pharaoh had the Israelites in bondage, you delivered them. But here again, we are in the same khaki van. We just can't go on this way. We have those modern Pharaohs who oppress the poor, who represents Israel. They confuse us with so much lie. Not even thinking that we will realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the poor. Please send us another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. Time to make them oppressors pay. So
say you get up one morning, your elders have something. You don't know how they get it, but you want to use it. But if you ask them old people to get the things what they went through, ask them this any day, and your parents sure to say, black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're able to get a pulley and jam with the devil. Why? Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're ready to swim offshore and hold your boat steady. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that dragon eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man do get nothing easy. I say you get up one morning, and oil money running. How it come you don't know, so that it care how the thing go. But if they read about Uriah, they wanna find out the pressure. How we get so much old hell to get a penny from TLL. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that eagle eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. Say we got up one morning, independence happening, getting the thing come easy. Now they're taking liberty, but if they know about petition, we have to send to England for some woman to tell we in this colony free. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. People hold you, humiliate you, turn on and sell you, and then they free you. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that dragon eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. So when a black man gets something, he got to start thinking to get it there easy. He got to practice economy, from getting licks from the slave master to become the landowner. Brother, it's a terrible journey, packed with plenty brutality. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to rise up, you got to stand up, make up your mind, you will always stay on top. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover my mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's In the Village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. And you all know, ladies and gentlemen, as we always say, doesn't matter what color t-shirt you wear a burgundy t-shirt, a pink t-shirt, a maroon t-shirt, each and every one is welcome in the village on WZYE 95.9 FM. And as you know, we always say, ladies and gentlemen, we originate, we don't imitate. We are the only program on the planet with an /pledge to you, the people, that will bring you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Take a listen.
Ansam LeBon and Marshall Nesbitt solemnly swear to conduct this radio program in a true, fair, and balanced manner, ensuring that all perspectives are given equal consideration and that the information presented is objective and unbiased. We pledge to provide a platform where diverse voices can be heard, fostering open and constructive dialogue that serves the best interests of our audience and community. Our commitment is to uphold the principles of journalistic integrity and ethical broadcasting throughout the duration of this program. Thank you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our /pledge to you, the people, that will bring you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Let me bring in my buddy here, my good friend, my pal, the young man from somewhere close to Toko, or maybe Sandy Grande, or maybe Manzanilla. Yeah, somewhere in that area. Uncle Tommy. Tommy, welcome.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. Welcome, welcome.
So help me God.
I'm happy to be here. How are you?
I am splendiferous, marvelous, tremendous, and fantabulous. How
Okay. All of the superlatives that you said, and some more.
And some more. Yeah, I could go with splentastic and spectacular, you know, but we go leave all those for now.
So, did you start back work today?
No, it's Wednesday.
Oh, when is this day?
But Tommy, you know, since I just give you all my experience, so today I went to the track. I did a workout on. I talked about the workout on Saturday, right? Right?
Yes.
All right. So Sunday I took off, and today I said I'm going to do 5 miles. Right? You know how much laps I was able to run? Take a guess.
2.
How you figure that out?
I just pick a number and thought I was going to be picking the right number.
Nah, let me get you a round of applause for that, Tony. I'd get a round of applause for that. No. No. Tommy, you sure you didn't? You sure you didn't peak at the track where I was? Take this, Tommy. Tommy, in track and field, right, Tommy, when you're training and thing, there are good days, especially when you are getting younger. I'll put it that way. Getting younger. Right? You have to understand. So today I went to the track. My intention was to do 5 miles. Now 5 miles is 20 laps. You know, I felt good. I did all my stretching, everything. I did 1 lap. I said, this don't look good. Second lap, it didn't look good to me. So what I did, I take off my running shoes. You know, because I have a special running shoes where I just wear. I take it off, I put it in the bag. You know, I put back on my clothes and I came back home.
Hey, you have to know when to say when.
Yeah. You have to know. You have to know when your body is telling you, live to run another day. And that's what I did. And it has been that way, Tommy, since I've taken the
Ugu Zugu.
Yeah, the Ubu Zubu. Since I take that Ubu Zubu, right? It has some days that I feel real good. I feel like if I'm out, like on Saturday, Tommy, I feel like I was in another planet, man. I feel like if I took some PEDs, you know what PEDs is, right? PEDs?
PEDs.
Yeah, PEDs.
Performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, that is Tommy, I tell you, you're real good, man. I felt like if I was on some type of PEDs, and I Saturday, Tommy. That's only 2 days ago, you know. But what happens is that on that Saturday, I trained so hard that I needed at least 48 hours to get myself back together. Let's take this.
Hey, there are days like that.
Correct.
Today was one of them days where I still don't feel as vibrant as other days. But the important thing is that I'm here, so I'm still grateful. In all things I give thanks.
There you go. KFC, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Washington, Uncle Tommy, man.
What's happening, man?
To you, good afternoon.
I like Uncle Tommy, man. We just giving thanks to life to live to see another day, man.
Giving thanks for life, man.
Yeah. Somebody can make it this morning. But Mr. Washington, I had an interview with your friend, man. You sprint, I would like to jump.
Who's that?
Karen, whenever I see them, like the virtual it on.
Yeah, she coming in the next half hour.
Well, I inside I check, you know,
Yeah,
all
man.
the viewers and all the listeners, all the strong warriors, fighters are good fight, the girl that is evil, wicked PNM. But I love to listen.
Bless.
Love and respect to Uncle Tommy.
All the time. Yeah, Tommy. So, I just packed my bags, Tommy, jump in my car, and I came back home.
That's it. You have to know when.
Tommy, you have a Trinidad and Tobago passport?
Absolutely.
Boy, so I'm supposed to run for Trinidad in March, right?
Yep.
I don't know why I'm to my passport.
You have one, don't you?
My Trinidad passport? Yeah, I had one from 1977.
You never renewed it?
Yeah, I renewed it, but I don't know. I can't find a new one. But I'm in the process now to try to see if they could expedite it for me to get one, because you need a passport to register, right? So, I couldn't find the naturalization certificate, right? So, when I can't find something, I'd ask my wife. You know what I mean?
Did she find it?
She found it. Yeah, she found it.
That's half the
Right?
battle.
Right. So now I'd go and look for the board paper with the hologram on it. That's the new board paper, right?
Right. The computer.
Right. I don't go and look for the board paper or the hologram because I had the board paper before that one. But board paper is not board paper though.
Well, they upgraded, so
But I don't go and look for that one now. You know? And
but take your time and look for the passport, man. It has to be in the house somewhere.
I mean, I look for it all over the place, man. I know where it's going. I look for it. I look. But because remember now, this is the fourth house that we've been living in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, but you haven't seen it since you moving into this house?
I remember now. I remember it is at all. You know?
You looking for the one from the 70s?
No, the new one, the
Machine readable.
yeah, the machine readable one.
Well, that should be in this house.
Because what I used to do when I go, I used to use one passport when I leave Trinidad, when I leave here, and when I go to Trinidad, I used to use the Trinidad passport.
Yeah, well, that's how that works.
Yeah, and that's what I used to do. But all of a sudden, I can't find it. But maybe I could call one of my PNM friends in Trinidad for them to help me expedite it.
Don't hold your breath, eh?
Eh?
Don't hold your breath.
Come on, Tommy, man. You mean I lost all my PNM friends? All of them? All?
You don't know what Costa Nostra means.
But Tommy, there's exceptions to the rule, man. There's no exception.
I don't know. When you find out, let me know.
All right. So maybe somebody in the chat might know somebody in the Costa Nostra who up at the top now. But I go through the normal process, and I think the people up here, when they see my name, they might think that you go try to help him.
Run into New York and see if you can talk to somebody.
Yeah. I gotta do that. I go do that. Miss Atlanta, welcome. Hello.
Tommy and Wall Street. So Wall Street, you can't get your passport in the consulate like New York?
Yeah. That's what I gotta get. I will go in there. I might put on my PNM t-shirt.
No, you don't have nothing to do with PNM as a citizen. They are there to help citizens, not PNM people.
No. If you go to PNM, should you get help faster?
But please, that might take a little longer. Anyway, have a good day.
You know no suggestions, Miss Atlanta?
That's all I told you to go just now. If you can't you go to the council? That's usually quick.
All right. You know those
I
students.
don't know if trouble.
Yeah.
No, you're laughing because my passport was worthless. No, you go in the and you're right there. You're in New York. People from all over have to come to New York when they doing it.
How long it does take?
Well, I don't want to lie, but anyway, it doesn't take long.
I mean, like a month?
You could get it within a month if you have all your ducks lined up. If you have all the paperwork.
Okay, all right. I go on. I find my naturalization papers.
Yeah.
I have to find my
certificate.
Birth paper. My new birth paper.
Yeah.
You want
and
me
then, and then if you know a Trinidadian, if you know any Trinidadian who works in thing there, that helps it quicker. That goes
cronyism.
If you know somebody.
If I know somebody.
Who works there.
But I know the Prime Minister. I can ask him to help somebody to help me.
Excuse me, them is done. I talk about people in America. Okay? He coming by you, you're sending an invitation.
No, he go send the people. Maybe I could call Stuart Young. What about Stuart Young? I could call him maybe.
You laugh, and next thing you get talk on when they go, you the man making fun of, we think well, the other way.
Oh God. Listen, thank
You
you.
make fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank
Alright,
you. All
okay.
right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So folks, if anybody could help me, if anybody could be of assistance, I don't want it that you know somebody and you go tell them, please, don't tell them it's Wall Street, eh? Tell them it's Anselm Born. Right?
So let me ask you something. You know anybody in the embassy in New York?
In New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know quite a few people.
Okay, because I was gonna tell you, you could ask for the boss and tell him Commissioner Nesbitt send you.
All right, here we go. Like what I go do. I ain't gonna tell them Brooklyn send me. You think they're gonna know who that is? If I say Brooklyn. Oh, Brooklyn, sorry. Brooklyn, welcome. Brooklyn, sorry. Brooklyn, welcome.
Just for that, you want to help you. Because I have the Consulate General personal phone number on my phone speed dial. Right? I can get anybody. Now, I hope you know they're still operating with the COVID rules. You have to make an appointment to go in there.
Okay.
You can't just go in there just so like how it used to be. You see, because since Brooklyn can't help you, see, Brooklyn is not just talk UNC, no. Brooklyn big in the dance.
Okay.
Brooklyn will walk to the Consulate General without an appointment.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Because I have the boss man number in my phone speed dial.
So
right?
so you just take advantage.
Serious about the information, I can connect you.
Brooklyn, use one of them fellows who just take advantage of position and thing.
I don't take advantage. I know people. I don't vote people. I don't vote party because I like them, you know. Or my grandmother tell me vote them, you know. I vote party because that party helped me in a lot of ways, in certain things. With the PNM people, you have to go and scrub the mat, tote the water, fill the tank before they could do anything for you as a black man. So you see me? That's why it's a UNC.
Now they say they're helping me. They say they go help me. They say they go help me. Yeah, they say
I know you are old PNM, you know, so they might really help you.
Yeah, I know. They say they go help me too. They say they go help
me. Well, I waited because...
Yeah, well, they never do Brooklyn. Hold strain, just in case I don't need your help.
Once I was good, I didn't even wait for mine to come. I fly out and go to Trinidad and pick up my young lady.
Okay.
That was I was.
You're big in the dance, but
I get my pass to fly out without my passport.
Wait, Brooklyn. How you go fly out to America without your passport? Nah, ain't making sense, Brooklyn.
On street, they give you a temporary permit to fly out of the US, and you can pick your passport up.
Okay.
To Spain in the new building, which I see last year. For the first time I walked in the building, quick. In 5 minutes, my passport was there.
Yeah,
5 minutes I walked in.
Yeah, you're big in the dance. Yeah, you're big in the dance.
Text the man and tell him the day I am going to pick up the passport because I only went to that for 5 days. So I had to get the passport to come back. So we talking about no joke thing. I talk about connection where I go to Trinidad and then no time I went, I reach Monday, the Wednesday I pick up the passport and I leave the next Monday and come back.
You see, Brooklyn,
my thing go.
Brooklyn,
yeah?
Brooklyn.
So
Let me say this to you before you go. Brooklyn, you see why Trinidad in the condition it is?
No, it's not
because you don't want to go through the process. You want to jump the line. All them hundreds of thousands of people waiting. Yeah.
I had a death in the family. My dad.
Oh, all right.
So because I know the boss man, I get you quick.
All right.
Emergency. So don't think it's corruption.
No. All right. No problem. No problem. Yeah.
No corruption.
You're safe.
Don't come wrong with party with that.
Because I thought you was using your. No, I thought you was using your past PNM following to expedite the thing.
I told you, I am not a UNC gesso. Yeah? And again, I can make certain phone calls and things happen.
All right. Yeah, man. Bless.
Yeah, man.
But ask him.
Eh?
You never met the Consul General downtown when I had him there?
I just joking on the Consul General, my friend, and I just joking on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every Consul General has been in this country. I know them personally. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to know them. I was just joking. I was joking. Let's go to the chat. Of course, joining us at the top of the hour is the Deputy Political Leader of Hope, Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira. Hanif says, Mr. Intellectual, say, blessed evening, pro Uncle T and all villagers. Hope you all had a marvelous Monday. Yeah, Volsang boy. Good evening to Walls, Uncle Tommy, and you, Hanif. What Busy Ram saying today? What Busy Ram saying today? Good day, Tommy and Wall Street. All listeners locked on. Share the live. Yeah, share the live. You know, Bijam just remind me, boy, to pull up this thing, because sometimes I just forget it. Thank you, Bijam. Share the live, folks. WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and X, WZYE TV and YouTube. Subscribe. All right, my choice to run P&M is Penny. Kamala is the boss for TC. Today's menu, lentil, rice, and smoke herring with a glass of Balize juice. Do they really have Balize juice in June?
I can't believe you asking that.
No, I never had Balize juice.
Who you fooling?
No, I never had no Balize. I never had Balize juice. I never had that. Maybe that's why I'm where I'm at today, because I never drink no Balize juice. Because it seems like whenever you drink that juice to me, it's forever, yeah. It's a P&M till you're dead, Once again, Busy Ram, watch yourself, eh?
when Karen comes in, we're gonna ask her about Balize juice.
Yeah. We gotta ask if she ever drink any Balize juice. Dane Khan, welcome. Caribbean Soul. Good night, WZYE TV and listeners. Yeah. Caribbean Soul, Wall Street. So all this speculation, Amy Brown have been putting us through online about Century League document. Now we have to say he's going up for the Martin. Them fellas and them. That's what I tell all all of them have to go to me. All. Them fellas know for a fact. Go ahead.
We had to stop giving them so much airtime.
No, but I hear it, yeah? But sometimes we just can't let these things go unaddressed. I put it that way.
Yeah, but we hit and run.
Yeah. Unaddressed. Yeah. Tommy Mohammed. Good night, Professor Warshid and Uncle Tommy and all listeners. Tommy said, want to stay on the live. What do you mean you want to stay, Tommy? So you come not to stay? Tommy Mohammed says, Professor Warshid, like what you said on Heavy and TC program this afternoon. All right. Yeah. It's all kind of thing I was saying. Robert Nesbitt, good evening. I'm in the village. Yeah. Hey, look, Denise G, boy.
Hey, Denise G.
Denise G, how you going? Long time Denise used to join me, boy. She don't join me no
more.
Yeah,
she's a stranger now.
Yeah, she's a stranger, boy.
But our doors are always open. You can walk right in.
Yeah. No, but like she must have that company when you see that. I mean, busy. I don't know if she just gets your phone take away, like how does take away Julian phone. You know how it just goes sometimes. Wall Street today, the government came to extend the SOE for 3 months. We have 11 murders in 13 days and 5 missing people for 2025. Do you think the SOE is successful? It's interesting, eh?
Very.
You would think Trinidad do have a SOE, right? But that is what the PNM very good at, They're very good at distractions, You understand? So this Stuart Young, Penelope Beckles and things, nice, boy. You had to give them credit.
Because I'm saying with the SOE, you tend to think the place littered with national security operatives.
Yeah.
Be it police, be it soldier, whatever. Look what happened in Komoto. You telling me that there were no operatives close enough to intercept?
Yeah, man. Denise G said 2 out of 5 in bad. What is that, Tommy?
I know.
2 out of 5 or what? I know what she's talking about now. Mr. Intellectual, welcome.
Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry I missed you
Good
guys.
to you.
Yeah, man.
I had to go in the bush.
Mr. Intellectual, Be careful when you're making them type of statement, you know. And you say, "I go in the bush." You know, when we going up in Chumaka, we say we are to go in the bush. It's not a catch, not no. Go ahead.
I actually went to help a guy out with some of his cocoa trees and I'm not right.
To do what? Do what? Say that again?
The cocoa trees and I'm in the forest now.
Yeah.
We went to help them prune them out and stuff like that and things. So teach them a little something now.
Oh,
How they
okay,
can
okay.
maintain the fields and even though it's overgrown.
Oh, okay.
But Uncle Tommy made a very interesting point there this evening in the sense that giving these fellas an impedance by establishing what they've been doing. Something I would like to mention. When we hear words proclaimed at certain times and we don't pay attention to it, it comes back to haunt us and it may do more harm than good if we do not understand what is being said at the time that those words were proclaimed. I don't know if you guys remember on a public platform, the PM said that he used the word Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? He said that it is something to do with secrecy.
Yeah.
Right? And if you break the code of secrecy, we're going to kill you politically.
Correct. I remember that.
If we look at what it is went on weekend, I think it was Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? The code of the Cosa Nostra was put into effect.
Correct.
And if people do not understand that we are not dealing with a normal run-of-the-mill government who has failed. It was deliberately done in a specific way that even though they fail, the failure was done in a specific way to ensure that the status quo of the Cosa Nostra remain in place. Whether we want to believe it or not, they are telling us what they are doing openly, and nobody pays attention to that. I would leave it at that because it may be a little too high for most of the people outside there. But if they understand the system that we're under right now, they would know what is the meaning of those things and why they were doing what they were doing and saying what they were saying in those particular timing. And we see everything coming out piece by piece. Take for instance, wean yourself off the government.
Yeah.
Right? And then you hear that if you have $25,000 in the bank, savings, you're not entitled to that pension. Or it would be difficult for you to get a pension. And many other things that were said that we didn't pay attention to, that is now taking root or has taken root and starting to bear fruit. And we wondering where that coming from and how that could happen and all this kind of thing. It's because of we not paying attention to the things that are going on around us and being said. So they're telling us openly exactly what they are doing, what they are about. And I'm going to tell you something. If this particular government stays in power, we are a gone nation. That is it.
Yeah, man.
Let's evening, gentlemen.
Thanks. Thank you.
So to you.
So tell me, I think this is what Mr. Intellectual is talking about.
A code, a mafiosi code. We keep each other's secret. It's only when you break rank, you go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. It's the code of the Cosa Nostra. As long as we stay together, we will survive together. and we agree not to breach the code of secret.
Just imagine Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, is encouraging supporters to follow the Mafioso Code and Cosa Nostra. What do they mean? The Mafioso Code and Cosa Nostra are closely related concepts rooted in the traditions of the Sicilian Mafia. Mafioso Code. The Mafioso Code refers to a set of unwritten rules and principles that govern the behavior of members within the mafia. These rules emphasize loyalty, respect, and secrecy. Some key elements include Omerta, the code of silence, where members are expected to never cooperate with authorities or reveal any information about the mafia's activities. Loyalty, absolute loyalty to the family and its members is paramount. Betrayal is met with severe consequences. Respect. Members must show respect to each other and to the hierarchy within the organization.
So you hear that?
Yep.
Betrayal is met with severe consequences.
Yep.
And that's what actually happened on Saturday. Simple. They went to Tobago and 9 of the dissidents betrayed the Mafioso Code and the Cosa Nostra. And they were told about the serious consequences that will be meted out to them. And they had to fall in line. It's simple. It's not that difficult, you know. Because if they didn't fall in line, they know the consequences of their actions. Plain and simple.
Organization. Discretion. Members are expected to conduct their activities discreetly and avoid drawing attention to themselves or the organization. Cosa Nostra, which translates to our thing, is another name for the Sicilian Mafia. It is a criminal organization that...
You hear that? A criminal organization. Just imagine a prime minister making a comparison to a criminal organization. What does that tell you? This comes out of his mouth, you know? What does that tell you?
Originated in Sicily in the 19th century and has since spread to other parts of the world, including the United States. The organization is structured into families or clans, each controlling a specific territory and engaged.
And that's where the 1% comes in. They're like a clan, whether we want to believe it or not. That's exactly where they come in. Wow.
In various criminal activities such as extortion, protection rackets, and drug trafficking. The Cosa Nostra operates under a strict code of conduct, which includes the Mafioso Code. Members are often referred to as men of honor and are expected to adhere to the organization's rules and traditions. Is this the examples PM Rowley wants his followers to follow?
Boy, interesting. Let me go back to the chat real quick here. Dennis G says, but Slim, how you know PEDs does make you feel? I'm sorry, Dennis, I will give you a story about PEDs one day. I will give you a story about that. Hey, Tommy, read what your partner said on the screen. Now your partner, read what you said on the screen.
Check the basement. They said there is where you live.
Yeah, all right. I'll go back and check.
Yeah, for the...
Kirby on the walls. Yesterday, Rowley came by me and boiled 5 crapo teeth, 2 rat wings, and gathered some rabbit milk to perform a little obia for the band. Oh, God. I never hear that one, eh? Hey, Bijram says that you and see support there. You ever eat chip with dal and rice? I eat chip before. 2 miles run or 5? No, 2 laps, not 2 miles. It's 2 miles you say to me or 2 laps?
2 laps.
Yeah, 2 laps is right. 2 laps. Just delayed badly. What delayed it is? Little did the PM know that Sammy the Bull Gravamo betrayed John Gotti after taking the oath of the Cosa Nostra. That is true, you know. John Gotti ended up in jail, you know. Did he pass?
I believe I know he's gone.
Huh?
Yeah, isn't that a while now he's gone?
Let me see that. John Gotti. Is he still alive? He was the big boss, you know, in New York. Steve Deberdine, welcome. John Gotti. Okay, he says he's dead.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. He passed. Right? So, folks, let's go for that break, and when we come back, we're gonna have with us Mrs. Karen Nunez, Tesheira. Yeah. John Nisbet, thank you. He's gone. He left us. So stick on stage. In the village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. Don't forget, folks, share the live. WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and X. Subscribe. Tommy, I have to tell you, we are at 7,200 subscribers. 7,200 subscribers. So, folks, you have been helping us very dearly get to 10,000, and we appreciate it. Don't forget, tell a friend to tell a friend. WZYE TV on YouTube, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, whenever we go on air, you get a direct message to your inbox letting you know that the program where we speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth is on air. So stick and stay. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we'll have with us Mrs. Karen Nunez. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's In the Village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. Don't forget, when you join us, folks, share the live, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and X, WZYE TV on YouTube. Subscribe. And you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Also at 973-609-6509, 973-609-6509. Don't forget, share the live.
And let me say welcome to Bishop Sherwin Thomas. And next time we have any kind of Bible question, because you know we have a fella in the chat, Tommy. You know, what is his name? Gordon, what is his name again?
Who, Maloney?
Nah, I don't know that one. Gordon Joseph, you mean?
Oh, that's his home name, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when we have a question, we go ask. So Bishop Sherwin Thomas, welcome. I think Bishop Sherwin Thomas grew up in Lavantil too, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So folks, without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the night. No other than Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, you know, of course, deputy political leader of Hope, and no stranger to politics in Trinidad and Tobago. A young lady, versed, former Minister of Finance. You know, Karen, I have to be honest with you. Growing up in Chumakak, Lavantil, I never in my wildest imagination ever thought I would have been able to speak to individuals who was ministers. And I always used to think that in politics, the ministers were normally the brightest people in the country.
What you trying to tell me?
No.
Oh.
Apparently, I left-handed something.
No, that's not left-handed. No, but then when I started dealing with some of them, you know what I mean?
Some of them.
Yes, some of them. Let me put it that way. I realized, but you know, Barnstrom, you was underselling yourself. I was selling myself short. Like I was going in the market, you know, and instead of action, like I know, I was selling Dasheen, instead of selling it $20 a pound, right? I was selling it for $10 a pound. So I was selling myself short, but but Karen, as we always know, it's always a pleasure that you can join us here. And when you join us, it's always an important factual conversation about the things that are going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Before we get to that, tell us a little bit how things are going with you and your new party, Hope.
Well, I would just like to say that we're into an election season, and as you have seen, as the Trinidad and Tobago has witnessed, I always say a day in politics is a lifetime. I will genuinely say that Hope has very, they talk about what policies, what differences will you make. We have, but I would love to talk about that, but this is not the day for me to do that. And one of the things I can say myself, sorry if it looks as though it's self-congratulatory, but myself, Timothy Hammersmith, Louis Lee Singh, persons who are the heads, so to speak, of Hope, are performers. We don't just talk, we talk. We have walk, we walk. I have the proof of that in the 2.5 years that I served, and so has Timothy, and so has Louis in his various capacities, including starting talk radio in Trinidad. We have all been, in a sense, myself being the only up to now Minister of Finance in a difficult time with the global financial crisis and CL financial crash, and dealing with a whole number of things, and we didn't get around. So I think we have a proven track record, and most of all, I really do believe that all of us have a commitment to Trinidad and Tobago. We're not in it for glory. I think all of us have achieved in our own rights. You talked about, I never thought I'd ever be Minister of Finance. I nearly fell off the chair when Mr. Manning told me I'm going to be Minister of Finance. I said, "You mean Minister in?" He said, "No, Minister off." But in any event, the point is, we have all achieved in our own rights. I've written 3 legal texts. They're still used, and I've achieved those things. So at this stage in my life, and I'm sure that's true for Timothy, and true for Louis, that we all want to, we are in a position that we want to really, truly give back. We're not fighting. I don't think we are fighting, which perhaps when we were younger, perhaps it would be true. Probably true about me too. Maybe when I was younger, I had that drive of ambition, which is very seductive. Not to do anything wrong, but certainly the ambition was there. But at this stage, my ambition is Trinidad and Tobago, absolutely solely Trinidad and Tobago. And I think that speaks true of the others. And on another occasion, I can go through a lot of the things that we have in place, and that are not just talking the talk, but really actionable things. And we all have, in our own capacities, done things, as either me as a minister and they as in their capacity. So I think that's enough of the Hope. Can we bring me back to talk about Hope? I'll be glad to do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. But Karen, I have to tell you something.
Yes.
That little 90-second speech, you sound like a political leader,
Oh my God. Well, I've been in politics. I will tell you this. When people ask you what I am, and I spent most of my life as a law lecturer, taught so many of the lawyers you see there, you wouldn't believe, Marvin Gonzalez. I was told I taught Stuart Young. I can't remember that though. That had to be in my future because I started at the age of 30.
Was he a good student? Was he a good student?
The person said to me that I taught him. I said, I did. So I can't remember. But Davis Mirage. There's so many of our law judges and stuff. Either they were either colleagues of mine or two former presidents. Paula May Weeks and I were in class together at law school. Anthony Carmona was a good friend of mine. He was also at law school. So, it just so happened.
What about the current AG?
Reggie, of course, I call him Reggie, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. The Attorney General, I know him from KVL. He was ahead of me. Always a little just ahead of me, but in Barbados, when we were in Barbados. So, and he was involved in student politics. So clearly, he's from Dominica originally. I think his one parent is Trinidadian. That doesn't really matter. But he was always involved, as many people, like Foster Cummins was very involved in, as David Abdullah, all of these people who have gone on campus. When you see they're involved in the student council and stuff like that, which he was, So everybody knew Reginald Amor. He's a very likable person. At the time, I don't think anyone had a negative view of him as a colleague. You know, I can't say that about Wally, God rest his soul. And he was also there when I was there.
But anyway, so far, the attorney is not in. So far, his innings, he's not playing a lot of good strokes at all. You know,
No, not at all.
no, he
That's
seemed
the
like,
thing.
you know,
Not at all.
eh? Yeah,
No,
he don't
no.
seem to be playing a lot of good strokes. But that's for another day.
Yeah,
But
and neither is Stuart, and that's the thing, you know. I met somebody in the supermarket today. He said to me, "You're very, very you're very straightforward." He didn't use the word straightforward; it was more than that. But he said it was a compliment, and that's me. You know, at the end of the day, if you end up not liking me, well, that's tough for you, because I'm not coming there to talk about your personal life, which I may know. I'm not coming there to talk about what I know about you personally, which I will not. I will talk about you in your capacity in politics. And if it is relevant, well, you don't have to be my friend. It's okay. I fight it for Trinidad, not you.
You know, it's interesting, Karen. I have a new quote. You know, I have a lot of quotes. You know, hard work beats talent when
Hi,
talent
Tommy,
doesn't.
and hi, the rest of your listeners. And I want to give you this. You were talking about subscribers. I have to tell you, using StreamYard is oh my God, for people like me, it's a dream. It's a dream. I did an interview with another station in Trinidad, which is one of the top stations, and it ended up me having to speak to them on the phone. Now, maybe it's me, but I still say it's them to make it simple for people.
You have to simplify it. You have to simplify it.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Hello, Karen.
Huh?
Hello, Karen. How are you?
I am going good. So I know we're here to talk about something that is really important. I think, yes, Mr. Wall Street.
Yeah.
Before we get serious, have you ever drunk Balize juice?
You mean the Kool-Aid? You know, I never had to, you know, and I'm being genuinely speaking. I mean, every time, you know, times change. And when I was teaching at the law school for several years, the students never knew I was politically active because I separated the two lives. But I felt so passionately about our position as the PNM. I didn't know Mr. Manning at the time. I got involved through other persons whose names I won't mention, but it was in the St. Joseph constituency, and that's how I got involved. I didn't drink the juice. I believed in them, and I believed in Patrick Manning. And when I became a minister, I don't think I put on blinders. I think I really wanted to see for myself because I had nothing to lose. I mean, you know, I wasn't in desperation, and I had achieved a lot professionally. So I wasn't doing it for any of those reasons. I didn't have this huge ego at all. I wanted to serve. And so I didn't have to drink Balize juice. I had to drink the country's juice. And thank God the Prime Minister lived his life. That Patrick Manning, I know people say, but I saw it. Lived his life for Trinidad and Tobago. I can tell you that.
You know what? I believe every single word you said about Patrick Manning, because I went for broke with Manning. I gave up many years of living in the United States to follow Manning's dream.
It's very true, you know. Now, nobody's perfect, and I didn't know him in the early years, and he wasn't prime minister in the early years. So I have to speak about the period that I knew him in, and I think he was at that stage. When I look back and I think about it, and maybe think that he may have said to me, he never spoke people, you know, at least not with me, you know. You would be surprised about that. Maybe he would say one or two things, but he never went down in the dirt. And that was my experience, and that's after he lost the elections. You know, I spoke to him the Friday before he died. You know, because every week I'd speak to him. You know, and he would just uplift you. You would be down. You'd feeling down. You know what happened in the country. You know, and I think when we were in opposition, I think, and you know, he was just so uplifting. And then when Dr. Rowley took over, whatever happened that I knew that happened, You know, he was just an uplifting person, and he just lived for this country. I know people, I think he wanted, in my view, you know, he wanted to go and preach. You know, that's what he wanted to do. He really got involved in that. Now, whether that was a good thing for him, I can't tell you that. But I think he wanted to leave a legacy. And I think the legacy he really wanted was the Vision 2020. If you didn't know that Vision 2020, when you went in to get into, you know, when they screen you, forget about it. Because I don't think I was on his radar, you know. I wasn't on his radar. You know. He knew Russell from Nelson Street, Russell from football. Russell was well known and well respected for where he came from and being the head of the national football team. So he knew Russell, but Russell was dead by then. So I did not really know Patrick Manning, but his Vision 2020, the strategic thing, I mean, he lived it. I'm telling you that. He lived that. Nobody's perfect. You have to have ministers who will support you. How many of those ministers sat down in that cabinet and were plotting against him? How many of them, after a cabinet meeting, would run outside and tell who they have to tell, what they have to tell? And those are the things I found out I kept to myself because the only boss I had was Patrick Manning. And you know why? Because I really believed in him. And I kept out of trouble. He said, he's saying politics is not what you do, it's what you say. I took that to heart. And I'll tell you something, you know, I mean, he's dealing with a cabinet. There must be half of them against him. He gave me some of the names, you know, and he didn't tell me much, but he just called the names to me. And, you know, you working with a cabinet they don't want you there, who want to take your place and feel that you should be out and they should be in that position. You're working against that, you know, and a man who devoted his life, I'm telling you that, especially when they lost the territory, he used to sit down in his garage in San Fernando and all 2 o'clock in the morning, just sitting down planning with others, like the Keith, who died, Keith Sobian, Mariano Brown was one of them too. Ken Valley was one of them too. Keith, our prime minister, was one of them too. It was about 5 or 6 of them, but he was the leading voice, and they all got together to learn from the errors and to make a difference for Trinidad and Tobago. Now, some of them disappointed him. That's the nature of politics. If you're not willing to take betrayal, don't go into politics, you know. If you're not willing to take betrayal, politics is not for you.
So Karen, and we're going to get to what you actually came in to talk about. Why did Mr. Manning have so much confidence in you to make you the Minister of Finance?
Okay, and I had asked myself the question also because, as I said to you, I think only once he asked me when we were in opposition, and Russell was the vice president of in CLICO, and he brought down that Bill Clinton, who everybody wanted to come down. So he, at that time, Mr. Pandey was prime minister, but he said he was going to make sure that Mr. Manning came to a small luncheon, to the smaller luncheon. He made sure Mr. Manning was there. And at that time, Mr. Manning did ask me about going into politics, but I couldn't do it because of Russell's position and because of CLICO and because of it. So what made him do it? Now I think back, and you see, you don't even realize it. I truly believed in his 2020 vision. I did my MBA before that. So I understood strategic thinking. I understood strategic objectives. I understood the UNDP. I really imbibed it. I understood it. I believed in it. And unwittingly, he never told me what to say. So I never knew what I was, you know. So what I think happened was that when I had to go on the platform and speak, he would listen to what I said. And also when I went for his screening, I was told that he did not have me in mind. But when he listened to me at the screening, he realized that I truly believed in the Vision 2020. So I think when he decided that he wanted someone could believe, who he believed in, and who would carry through, because that's important. Someone who believed in your vision, you have to be careful with that. And I think he didn't think I was coming. He thought I had money, much more than I had, but I wasn't hand to mouth. That is true. I was educated, so I wasn't in a situation where I was coming in there to make money and stuff. But because he saw that I believed in the 2020 vision, I really think that was the deciding point. And he was right, because I did. And my actions and what I did as a minister was consistent with that. So he had trust and confidence. I was protected, you know. People think that when I went through that thing about me taking out my money and trying to make it, up to now they can't find the person. But let's not go down that road, because I'm waiting for them to bring the person. You know how long they're going to bring them on a Monday evening, right? I know some of the people who talk though, you know. Eventually I found out. But anyway, that's beside the point. When I had to deal with things like the CL Financial, which was a big issue until 2010, until, well, they did whatever they had to do after that. I can't account for it. But he really showed me, he had a confidence in me. He had confidence in the my permanent secretary, Alison Lewis, who didn't make joke, you know. She wasn't making jokes. She there for the country. And he had confidence in the governor, even though the governor had said we're going on a slippery slope and we reach 10% in inflation. So I think the three of us, he had that confidence in us. And I think that had a lot to do with it. So that those in my cabinet who must have hated me because I did not tell anybody. I was going out with somebody, I didn't tell them. I had children, I didn't tell them. Nobody I told. I kept that undercover. So when I came into the cabinet and said it, some of them were very angry because apparently some of them had money in Pico Investment Bank thing, and they invested in whatever they invested in and were angry about it. But one thing, because of that, Mr. Manning's belief and confidence in me, which I don't think he just took my word for it. I saw he had his Secret Service and whoever else to check on me or whatever. Didn't take my word for it. I think at the end of the day, I was protected. Nobody come and told me anything, you know. They might have talked about me behind my back, but nobody come in front of me to tell me anything, you know. I only heard that somebody went to him and told him, get rid of me, and he run him out the office. And he never told me, if someone came and told me he did that. So I was protected because he believed in me, and he had a right to believe in me because I was committed to Trinidad and Tobago, and I was committed to him as Prime Minister. I was, and I still am. You see how we're talking still? And I will never go against Patrick Manning. Never. How many years he's dead? I will never, ever. I may not be in the PNM party, and that's what, if he was there, I would have been there 100%. I'd be in the PNM.
So let's get to what you're here to talk about, Karen. We want to talk about what's going on in the PNM from your vantage point as being a person who's been in the belly of the PNM, so to speak.
Beast.
Well, I kind of leave that out. I wanted to be
you can say that though. I mean, it's just a figure of speech. So
yeah. I know you were in the belly of the beast, you know, with respect to the PNM, and you see all these machinations, I can say, going on within the PNM with and Karen, I said something, right? And people say that I am speaking race. And the thing about it is that I have said that 61%, and this is fact, 61% of people who put the PNM in power was predominantly the black people who voted for the PNM. And to see now that, in my estimation, this is not your words, that the minority is running the majority. But we're going to get to that. What is your take on how this thing evolved with Stuart Young being, I say, hoisted on the MPs in the People's National Movement? What's your take?
Yeah, you know, since we had a conversation before, I've had time to think more about it.
Yeah.
And do more research because that's my nature. Now, I think what is the wrong thing is that Prime Minister we have. You know, when they say that he must have his way, it's true, he must have his way. And he had indicated from some time, because it was in the papers, that he wanted Stuart Young to be his successor. And in my respectful opinion, because Stuart Young has many of the characteristics he has. He may speak in a very polished manner, but what comes out of his mouth is as crude and as vulgar and as crass He also has been a terrible Minister of Energy because in every area there has been failure. I have all the figures to support that. He has not delivered Dragonfield, and Dragonfield is coming. The allowance the United States gave, that we could pay money for the natural gas out of Dragonfield. That is coming to end October the 31st. And Shell, which is a major investor and beneficiary, because most of the natural gas, and people don't realize, they talked it up so much, which is part of what, why I have little regard for him, is they talked up the Dragonfield so much. It does have 4.3 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. That is true. But it's in the first 2 years, we'll only get 100 and something, a million cubic feet. And when they come to the maximum, it'll be 350, and 300 will go to Shell with LNG, where we won't make much money, and only 50 million, that's per day, will go to the downstream industry. When we have a shortage, we need 4-point-something billion cubic feet per day. And we are short. I don't want to get the figures wrong because I didn't look it back over, and I like to do that. But we have 4.4 billion cubic feet.
Minister of Finance says they need at least 4 billion. Is it 4 trillion or 4 billion? One of the others.
No, it's billion. It's billion cubic feet a day. It's not only the Minister of Finance. It's the Prime Minister in 2019 said, ideally, we should get 4.19. He said, but we had at 4.1 billion cubic feet per day in order to feed the downstream industry, because it's that's how they make the methanol, that's how they make the urea, that's how they make the ammonia, which is where we make the money. And then the LNG, which is being mostly financed by Shell and BP. So what has happened is that it's now only 2.4 billion cubic feet, and therefore we have declines in LNG. A lot of the natural petrochemical industries, they have shut it down. The Titan, they gone from, anyway, it's just a mess. And even the oil has gone to about 50,000 barrels per day. It's at its lowest point. And there are things they could have done, but we didn't come to talk about that. What I'm really trying to say, that if he was going up there based on his performance, he have a lot of swag and he have a lot of chat. That doesn't run a country. That does not run a country. I wish people understand that. That is not what runs a country. You have to have vision. You have to have a strategic objective, and you have to put it in place, right? And you have to show success. Where is his success? And when he was Minister of National Security, I looked at the figures. He didn't do badly, but he didn't do well. And the only day that the figures went up with murder, and all the numbers went up while he was minister, except 2020 when we had the COVID. So he does not have a history of being a successful MP. So I don't understand. But what he does have, he knows how to speak like the Prime Minister. He knows how to be the minister of everything and anything. What he knows to do, which was very wrong on his part, is to go on CNN and say that Train 1 was alive and well when he knew that was not true, because Shell and BP pulled out and he knew that was not true. What he did is that Mr. Warner, not Jack Warner, the other Warner, that is Mr. Dr. Rowley's good friend, it's all October good, it's all well said. I'm not saying anything they do that's not out there. What he did, which is so disgraceful, the judge, they were illegally quarrying in Waterloo. So they had no license, so they weren't paying on state lands. And the judge closed down the operations and also did granted injunctions, so they couldn't remove the materials. You know what that gentleman did? Because he is the Minister of Energy and Mining. 2 weeks later, he gave that Mr. Warner's son a temporary license to go ahead and quarry there. And then they're doing the same thing in Tobago. You cannot tell me they do not know that is the Minister of Energy and Mining. Doesn't know that Mr. Warner is quarrying illegally. It was in the papers, and using the quarry material, so they say, with his Presticon to provide concrete for that airport for 3 million people, which is not a hotel, and we only have probably 1.4 million. So if you understand what I just said, the reason why, in my view, and I don't think I am wrong, and the view of many, why he is the chosen one is not his capability. It's not his capability. It is his willingness to do what his boss says and to act like his boss. Is that what Trinidad wants? If they don't want Rowley, and you know why I know they don't want Rowley? Because in the third election, which I did not do well in, but in his own constituency of Diego Martin, you know, he only got a few hundred votes out from the PNM membership of thousands of people. And then 5 o'clock in the afternoon, after the 3 days they gave, he finally came out and voted. A few hundred votes, that is what he got. And if you don't like Dr. Rowley, if that election, they had less than 10% of the PNM membership came out and voted. But I'm talking about in his own constituency. If that is what they did to you, Mr. Prime Minister, everybody sees Mr. Stuart Young as Mr. Everything and Anything and a Mr. Mini-Me. And you are forcing on us. So let me tell you what I think was wrong. Yes, what is wrong and what Mr. Trudeau did not do. Mr. Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, because the economy, etc., they have realized he has to resign. He's not popular. Things are not going well, etc. But what does he do? He says, I will resign as Prime Minister once the party has chosen a new political leader. Why is that important? Because it is the political leader that will take you into the elections and will become Prime Minister should that party win. But he does not do that. The right thing for him to have done, and you know, we spoke about it before we came on the show. I looked at the Constitution and also their articles and the papers on it. They could have called, that is the Prime Minister who says he is resigning. He's resigning and he as Prime Minister and therefore as an MP, but he has not given up the political leader position because it doesn't become due until 2026. But they can have a special convention. The Central Executive can call a special convention under the Article 19, I believe, 19.6, if I may be right. But anyway, one of the articles. And they can call it in order, if he really cared about the country, and ask them to call an election to determine who is going to be the political leader. So I am leaving, and the political leader and the Prime Minister should be one and the same thing. And I could bet my last dollar that what's his name, Stuart Young, would never have been chosen. Yeah. Penny Beckles, Foster Cummins, Amy Brown maybe, but as sure as my name is Karen Nunez Tesheira, one person they were not going to choose was Stuart Young, and he knew that because they didn't want him, so they couldn't want his mini-me. They would not want his mini-me. So he knew that. And if he had called, if the Central Executive had called that and he had said, let us do this thing the right way. Let us choose, let me step down as political leader. So we don't have a political leader because his term does not come to an end until the next year. Him, the chairman, who is Stuart Young, and General Secretary is Foster Cummins, right? Those three positions would not, but you could call a special convention. And he could have said, you have Article 1, all those wonderful things that Article 1 speaks about, as if I'm reading the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. Why couldn't you do the right thing? Call a special convention. You have to call a special convention. Let the people decide who they want as their political leader, because by doing that, they are, because that is the history. I don't know that it's been any different, except when Dr. Williams died in office, right? What would then happen is that person would now become the political leader, and it would not be Stuart Young. I'm sure about that one. I'm sure it would not have been him, right? And then that person would have taken us into an election. And then you could then say, now we have chosen the political leader. when we go into the election, we know who we are going to have as our prime minister. That's what has always happened. But what do? You know they're not going to choose him. You're just like how Gary Griffith you didn't want. And you made sure to let the whole of the marriage and the parish and everybody who would listen to you and the media, let them know you didn't want Gary Griffith. And on the day when the Police Service Commission head Trot Sipasad came to the president with the decision that Gary Griffith had topped, and that was the choice under the section 126 of the Constitution as amended. Who came to visit that day? He said it eventually, the Prime Minister, right? And who handed back the list to Sipasad? The President. So what he making you know that he must have his way. Same thing with the refinery, with the Mr. Jindal, taking pictures of Jindal and obviously trying to say Jindal should get a refinery, only to know that Jindal facing serious corruption charges in India, and only in 2023 they gave him permission to leave India with serious corruption charges related to mining. And that's who you want to sell our refinery to and take it. And when it came out in the media, you all the way in Samoa, months later, when Mr. Jindal get the pressure, you say, look, he go, he done with that, they don't want me. All the way in Samoa is throwing words for the opposition when you're there with King Charles. That is the kind of man you are. So what he did, and this is where I think the wrong thing is to now, instead of doing it the right way, what we have now is a situation where you call the members of parliament when you have the majority of 21, which is a very slim majority, I might add, right? A very slim majority. And then you are the prime minister and nominations, and you have not provoked parliament. So those if I was in government and I was a cabinet minister, they're not stupid. They know that that's what he wants. They know it better than I could have known, because I don't have any inside person talking in my head, but I just know how it operates, right? So if I want to make sure that he doesn't send me like he sent Amy Brown to Brazil, when he thought Amy might have been a threat to him, I think, or Penny Beckers to United Nations, or Donna Cox to Florida. I don't know why that one was, but I know Penny and I can understand Amy. Get rid of them, send them out to pasture, right? Because they want to make sure they are in the parliament, none of them are going to talk out. And when they made them after coming and picking picture in Tobago and making everybody look happy, they're playing the game, and he knows they're playing the game with him because he net how many years. He understands what's going on, and they understand what's going on. Everybody understands. It's a game of chess they played. Everybody. That's my view. And then when they want now for people to put it in writing, eventually, because they want screening has not finished, and you could always because he is still the political leader. And you know what he said? When they amended the constitution for one man, one vote and took away the veto power of the political leader, he said, I had it quote, he says, if the political leader does not like you, you have a very hard road and hill to climb. So they understand that. You think any of them who want to go in to have a chance to be back in parliament are going to go against Dr. Rowley now? They cannot afford to do that, because either he will not, there are a few seats are remaining to be decided, they just won't get the seats, or he can return and say, you know what, I think this other person is a better choice. He can do that, and they all know that. So you cannot look at what everybody coming out smiling. They have to play the game too, because also too, to be honest, if they do not come across as being united, they're shooting themselves in the foot. So they also are looking out for their own interests, and they recognize that the party is looking weak, is looking lack of discipline. It looks like it's in turmoil, and therefore it's making the opposition, which has always been said that about them, not look too bad now, because people are not fooled. So my point is this, that at the end of the day, what he tried to do is foist, and that is how he did it, because he said 2015, this man has been saying he wants to retire. 2020, he said he only stayed because of COVID. But regardless, the point is, if you knew, not to be yesterday, you didn't get sick yesterday on the side. Well, I don't know if you're sick, but I mean, apparently not. You knew that you were going to resign, and you knew you wanted to put Stuart Young to carry on your legacy, quote unquote. If you knew that, why didn't you do the right thing for not only for the country, but for the party that you're supposed to love? So what you should have done was let the party vote who they want, and that person would lead us into the election. And that person, should the PNM win, would become the prime minister, because that is how it operates. That is how it operates, right? And if that person they chose wasn't Penny or Foster Cummins or Amory, who didn't have a seat at the time, he was a senator, you'd have to just give him a seat, because you can give them a seat, because a seat will become vacant once you say you retire. Why did you do it that way? You know why you didn't do it that way? Because you wanted to force Stuart Young on the members of parliament, on the PNM party, and all those who drink the Kool-Aid, who don't want to listen to that, and on the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because you must have your way, and that's how you did it, right? But guess what? You see, he knows, you have to play chicken or play chess, whatever it is, who plays first. He also must know, like everybody should know, that, okay, so now you have an unseemly situation with you being political leader and somebody else being prime minister. How is that right? How could that be good for the party going into election? But you see, you wanted to have it your way. That's it. You had to have it your way. But then you go into, suppose you win. Section 76A(1) does not say under what circumstances you can appoint a new prime minister. So the appointment is a valid appointment. Once you get the majority of the members in the House to support Stuart Young, which was the chosen one, then he is the one who will go up as, for purposes of elections, as the prime minister in waiting should the PNM win. That is what will happen, because he got the 21 seats, and I mean the opposition seats won't vote for Stuart Young, will they? They won't vote for PNM, will they? Right. So that's what he set up. But when they reach in the parliament, this is not the party anymore. This is not the party calling the shots. And this is not Mr. Dr. Rowley calling the shots as much as he wants to call all the shots. That's how I look at it. What he reach inside there, they will probably win. If they win, which I hope will make a difference, and that's what we are committed to doing. But you must have been back and talk about it so people would see that we're not just talking the talk. We'll walk it, and I walked it already, so I will walk it again. But what will happen, what can happen, is that once they reach inside the House, you just need one or two. Let's say they win by a slim majority, as they did last time, 22-19. And I don't even know what will happen with Tobago. Some say one will go for PNM, another one will go PDP. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's going to be slim. And if it's a slim majority, it just needs one or two of them to say that they do not recognize Stuart Young as a leader in the House. Then he's still an MP, but he's still not the prime minister. And what could Dr. Rowley do? He's not an MP, he's not a prime minister, and his thing as the party leader coming to end next year. What are you going to do? So I think a lot of them, I might be wrong, I hope I'm not pulling out anybody's, but you can figure it out, all of them figure it out already. They are playing the game with him too. Because they're playing the game with him too. And that's what I think. I mean, I'm completely wrong. And they may be very happy about the choice. And they may be very willing to go along. But I think that they are saying, okay, we'll play along. Like when we reach any house, what you going to do now? You can't do anything in the house, This is Constitution Trinidad and Tobago, not the Constitution at PNM, So if one or two of us say that we don't support you as the leader, who the president going to appoint? Who is she going to appoint? Who is she going to appoint?
So Karen, all this to say, right, is that.
Thank you for allowing me to headline on it.
No. I mean, that's why you the guest. All that to say now is that this signing by these 21 MPs, including Dr. Rowley, that only goes to the president for Stuart Young now ascending to being prime minister until the general election is called. Is that correct?
Well, no. Well, when the prime minister, he's still prime minister. Rowley's still the prime minister.
No. When he steps down.
When he steps down, yes, that's only going into the election because we don't know who's going to win. I mean, you don't know who's going to win, do you?
So the letter that these 21 MPs signed only applies to when Dr. Rowley steps down, Stuart Young ascends to prime minister. This letter now only talks about this current situation. However,
absolutely,
if there is a general election, and we are just surmising here, and I really don't want this to happen, I'll be honest with you. If the PNM for some reason should win, we now have a political leader who is Dr. Rowley, and you have a former prime minister a former prime minister in Stuart Young. Now, he has to get the majority now of, if they still get 22 seats, he has to get the majority of those 22 seats now. MPs.
He has to get all. I think you'll have to get all of them. And just to say,
I'm just saying if they get 22.
Yes, he'll have to. Yes, well, if they have to get all of them, because remember, it's 41 seats in all, and the UNC or we hope to get a few. So the point is that it will come down, I think, to a very slim majority that based even on the last elections and how you see things with the salary review, the SOE, with this whole thing about the senior citizen grant and saying as a mistake. That's a policy decision, which I was in government, which public servant will take it in their mind to make policy. To say that you have to have, if you have $25,000, as much as $25,000, you do not qualify for the grant. It's a policy of a government. How I know how it works. I know how it goes to the thing. And come in and want to tell us, that is the Attorney General, foolishness like it was a mistake. What are you taking us for? And the Salary Review Commission, that is why one of the things that Hope says, it should be elected. And every day you realize why you should have an elected president. Nothing personal against the current president. I'm talking about for the country, because what happens is that it is the president who appoints the Salary Review Commission. And who appoints the president? The Electoral College and who has the majority. In other words, the prime minister in effect. And who got the most? The president and the prime minister, over 40-something% in thing. And who telling people that they can't get more than 4% because we have no money. We have no money, but you're giving yourself that. How you think it remind me of that? Like, she did not say it. It is not true that she said, let them eat cake. It is a man called Rousseau, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who was a French philosopher. But Marie Antoinette was not the person who said it, but it meant that it symbolizes the out of touch, uncaring government, that you're looking after yourself and telling me that I must go and suck salt while you go in and drink champagne. That's not good. And then the crime rate, they cannot control that crime rate. And then the other thing, I have to mention it, when they had that SSA, the security thing, where the prime minister came out, and I had really believed him, I believed him, he said that they are stockpiling ammunition, they are stockpiling guns in Komoto, which is a center, because they have intentions to have an overthrow of the government, as I understand it. Then you find he's at the National Security Council, only to find out that a decision had been made a few years back that would be used as a main training ground for shooting, and therefore guns and ammunition from various centers was sent to Komoto. So it wasn't Mr. Best who is suing them. I don't know what the terms are, but swing the thing. But he came and gave the impression they was stockpiling, and it was not true. I mean, this is the kind of nonsense. And people want to tell me, listen, and somebody told me this, I was so shocked. After that, I stopped talking to the person. I said, I can't talk to you, boy. I didn't tell him that, but I thought that. I said, the party comes first. I said, well, boy, if you put in the party before your country, no wonder. I wouldn't want to tell you the example I gave him. But no wonder you have dictatorships that have thrived historically when people put a party's interest in front of the interest of the people. It never works.
But Karen, let's see if we can
Somebody gave me the name of the agency.
Yeah. Let's see if we can we have people here and we have a few questions for you too. So Karen, what we are saying here is that the 21 MPs have close ranked under the future Prime Minister, right, until the general election, Stuart Young.
Yeah.
Right? And their strategy now, I don't know, because I can't go into their brain. Their strategy now is to wait and see what happens. And then they're going to show their hand after the general election.
Right. Well, the two reasons why you could say that. What is noteworthy is that Colin Imbert is very silent. That's not Colin Imbert. Listen, this is an opinion, my opinion, and I'm entitled to an opinion. And he's very silent. And because he's not one of them, he is part of the screening committee. I went and checked who is part of the screening committee by virtue of being a deputy political leader. But he's not one of them. There's only three of them. Foster Cummins in his capacity as the General Secretary, Stuart Young in his capacity as Chairman, and the Prime Minister in his capacity as political leader, their election does not come up until 2026. But the rest of them, it's no. But he's very, very silent. That's number one. Number two, if it was such a unanimous decision and everything was honky-dory and everybody was, oh, that's the right decision, we love the decision, why is it that Robertson Regis had to go around, but eventually she would have had to do it in writing because they'll have to write something to the president and let her know they have the majority in the parliament, right? And so you could only show that, but you have to show it in writing. But it was noteworthy that 9 of those persons did not support him, and 11 did. So the idea of there being unanimity and everything is honky-dory and everybody drank that Kool-Aid is not true. And out of those who would have signed, and I do not know it, but I'm telling you from my experience. And it is true, I heard them say that about Biden. They said they should have let Biden, they should never allow Biden to go up again, but people were holding on to Biden because their future depended on him. And sometimes people make decisions because you see me, if we lose this election, I don't have a set of money to go back to. I don't have a big job to go back to. And I know people whose names shall remain nameless. But I do know as a fact, not as no speculation, I do know as a fact, people who suffered financially when Mr. Manning, which is one thing I did not agree with Mr. Manning when he did that, but we have gotten all kinds of theories and I'm not going to go into them. Well, I saw for myself firsthand what it meant when people are out of government. I left Trinidad, I went Barbados. My daughter was still in school for all those things. I was rolling in money. I wanted to have enough income, but I was not living a fine life for 4 years because I still had it in school. But I was in a better position than many people. So there are many people of the 11. My point is, of the 11 who signed, you can't really go on that 11 and say they really support Stuart Young. They may be supporting Stuart Young because they hitched their wagon to Stuart Young. And they hitched their wagon to Stuart Young because that's the nature of politics, for ministerial portfolio, for family contracts to be given, for chairmanships and so on. In other words, you cannot go by those numbers and conclude that those who signed initially supported. But what you do know that there was the 9 out of the 11 did not sign. And when they came back and wanted to give you the impression, they have to do that. I was in politics. If I was inside there and I was started in charge, I say, listen, everybody watching at us, and making UNC look good. They always fight in UNC for all of us to see. We always don't discipline, tolerance, and production. Eric Williams said discipline of the party. How we could come across as not having the discipline that the PNM is known for. How we going into election fighting each other, we'll be fighting each other, but fighting each other openly. You're weakening yourself, and nature abhors a vacuum. And therefore, you are creating opportunities not only for the opposition, but for parties like Hope, who really have the country's interest at heart, and who will not only talk the talk, but they will walk the walk. And I have the track record to prove that I walk the walk. Whatever they may want to say, I have to say this. Did Republic Bank have a run? No. Did Clico have a run? And I had nothing in Clico, by the way, although they tried to say it with this, whatever it was. I didn't have it with CIB. They had a run in the country? No. No, we did not have a run. And oil was $35 a barrel at the time. And the whole world was caught up in a global financial crisis, right? And Standard & Poor's called us, put us on a wait thing to see if they were satisfied that we would be able to manage it. Went up to New York, met with them, and they were satisfied and took us off of whatever list. So we were committed to Trinidad. We have a proven track record. We passed the financial institution legislation, the Financial Institution Act, which is what started the fear with Clico, because the intercompany transactions using CIB as a piggy bank, it stopped to a large extent that, right? We passed the Insurance Amendment Act to give the governor the kinds of extended powers that he did not previously have. We had the we passed the, whether people like it or not, we had passed the TTTRA in the lower house because we had the 3/5 majority. TTIFC, one of the top the not financial institutions, had signed an MOU with us. They went under but we are using the model that Dubai had used. If you get a big one, a big fish to come, others will follow. So we had, and we had infamous property tax. What I'm saying is, with its idea of reform, what I'm trying to say is, we were not just sitting around doing nothing. And if we were in power, that's hope. And if Mr. Manning was there, I am sure, but he's not there. So the leadership, once the leadership is gone, that's the end of it, You look at any country, Mandela, they lock him up. Why you lock him up? Mahatma Gandhi, whether you like him or not, Castro, whether you like him or not, Che Guevara, whether you like him or not, well, you have to like Dr. Martin Luther King. But you understand, all of them are educated. Most of them are lawyers by perchance. Toussaint Louverture during the French Revolution. All of these people were educated, but you know what? They use their education and position to help those lesser. But what did he do for these people? What did he do today? Who are still his security guards? Who are the ones bagging your thing in the grocery? Who are the ones working in CPEP and URP and taking a little something and saying, thank God for Jesus? Who are the ones who have all the money? Who are the ones who have all the wealth? Who are the ones that have a monopoly in this country? And you overlook that? You didn't think that you had a responsibility to create opportunities? No. And it's like, and the boy just said, what you said? Diversification, like it is an irritation here. But look where we are today. Look where we are today. The foreign exchange we have is equal to the debt that we carry in, because we borrow so much. And I made a mistake on another show. I said it's 1.8 million. He took out $1.8 billion out of the HSF from 2016 to December 2023 and did not tell us about December 2023. That is the Minister of Finance until a year later when the HSF had to publish their annual report in Parliament, and that's how we found out. That's who you put inside of there. It means Israel getting next.
Yeah.
Oh, back to what I was saying.
Somebody just made us.
You asked me the questions.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, somebody just made a statement, right? And I'm going to read this. I'm going to read the statement for you. It says, I have real respect for you. When I heard you said Mr. Young did nothing for the country in oil and gas, it tells me you are delusional. I wanted to address that because, you know what it is? You know, I wanted to address that, Karen. It's because, you know, when people don't have the information that other people have, they want to make people out to be something that they don't even know about, right? So they use these kind of terms. Yeah. And I want you.
I'm glad you said it because I'd like to come in the facts. Huh? So let me give you an example.
Because we're going to start breaking in a minute, yeah? Let's do this, Kyle. Let me go for the break, and then let me go for the break, and then we come back.
Central Bank itself said that the energy sector is in decline, and I have it in my terrible handwriting, some figures.
Okay, all right, let's go for that break. Folks, it's In the Village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walshed, and you, and Karen Nunez, Mrs. Karen Nunez, Tesheira. Let's go for that quick break. We'll be right back. Don't forget, share the live, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and X, and subscribe, WZYE TV and YouTube. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's In the Village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walshed, Mrs. Karen Nunez, Tesheira, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. Don't forget, folks, share the live, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and X. Subscribe, WZYE TV on YouTube. And you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Okay, so I think what the person, well, let me start with the figures. First of all, the Central Bank came around and said that the energy sector is in decline. And because the country has not diversified the economy, that is the government, the leadership, we find ourselves in a situation where we have a serious foreign exchange shortage. And you just have to know, because the banks have limited your ability to get foreign exchange to a maximum of $2,000 US per month, because of the that is an indication of that, plus to the figures coming out of Central Bank, which shows that we and energy is our major source. But let us go to the Minister of Energy. When we look at the barrels of oil, let's start, say, 2019. I don't have 2018 because I think he became Minister of Energy in 2021. But in 2019, it's 49.1 barrels. In 2020, it was it was 58.3, and then in 2020 it was 57.2, 2021 58.6, 2022 52.7, 2023 55.6, and in 2024 49.8. And then when you look at the natural gas production from 2018, it went from 3.58 million cubic feet per day, billion cubic feet per day in 2019 to 3.5, to 2020 to 3.2, to 2021 to 2.57, to 2022 to 2.6, to 2023 to 2.4, and in 2024, I think they say projected, but at that point it's 2.4. So there has been a production in natural gas has gone down, but oil production has gone down. Then we look at the petrochemical. The Atlas and Titus were the main producers of methanol, and the larger one was closed down. I don't know which is Atlas or Titan, and they closed it down because they don't have enough natural gas. So the methanol production fell from, let's say, 2019, so from 5,564 tons in 2021, 2020, 4,698, 21, 5,377. In 2023, 4,214, and in 2024, 4,199. Urea and ammonia, it went down. I'm just going to give a quick thing. In 2019, from 1,386. By 2023, it was 968.9, and by 2024, 733. So I said urea, ammonia, give you ammonia. Ammonia went from 5,040. By 2022, it was 4.6, 2023, 3.2. I did not have a figure for 2024. So in every area, we got a downturn. Not only that, but also with the bid rounds, because if you go to the website, you can't get any data on this. But that data that I gave you came from Central Bank, and it said courtesy the Ministry of Energy and Mining. But I couldn't find it on their site, at least not easily. So when you get into the investment profile, you see that the bid rounds in every area, let's see now deep water is taking a greater chance, that is true. But I think it's like 4 out of 17 was taken out. And then nearer to shore, in every bid round, the investment and in every bid round was very unimpressive. I wish I had the figures in front of me, because I did have it. But so I could say definitively, but I know they didn't know. But just go on the Ministry of West, go on their website, you'll see for yourself. And then the other part that really gets me. So you say to yourself, well, you're being hard on him. I mean, natural gas production, what is he supposed to do? Well, stop telling us about Dragonfield, because you keep talking about the 30-year license they get for Venezuela. Don't you understand Venezuela is the greatest enemy of America, much less now under Trump? They use something, maximum pressure, they call it, thinking the army would turn against him, and he didn't. Isn't it the same Venezuela that is trying to claim 2/3 of a CARICOM country called Guyana, in which ExxonMobil have invested? It is not that license that Venezuela needs money. So that 30-year license is not too big. Repsol is operating there for years now. They have a special arrangement. What you want is the OFAC, which is United States Office of Fixed Asset Control. That's how they use sanctions as a weapon to control countries. And they gave you 2 years, Mr. Man, 2 years. Instead, they made an amendment. I said, okay, sorry to call you Mr. Man, that's disrespectful, Minister. 2 years that you would be allowed to exchange, instead of kind, you could actually pay for the natural gas. Shell is the one that is making a major investment. They had to sign a final investment decision. It is October the 31st this year, it's coming to end, and Shell has not, and you kept pushing the Dragonfield as if, and in the papers I read it, Dragonfield was going to save us. The Lauren Manatee, most of the Lauren Manatee natural gas is in Venezuelan waters. We could do the Manatee part, but most of that is going to LNG, where we do not make much money. The LNG is like selling cocoa instead of chocolate. The coquina, I can't pronounce it, but the other one is a cross-border field. Most of it, 65% of that natural gas is in our water, so BPTT got permission to do development. But what I am saying is, stop telling me about Dragonfield when you have not delivered it. Stop telling me where you're getting the natural gas from. You have not delivered it. Where you're getting the oil from, you haven't delivered it. And not only that, the point that people have made is what you should have done, at least I think that's what we would have done. You recognize that natural gas is more valuable to you in the downstream industries than anywhere else. That's where the revenue is being, plus all the transfer pricing, which is the Minister of Finance. But as the energy, when these multinational corporations use transfer pricing, it's a way of getting around paying the right amount of tax to us. Up to now, they don't pass that legislation. Why you don't study that? And the other thing is, as the minister, why didn't you say to yourself, well, listen, what do we really need? We need the natural gas, because most of it going to Shell and BP for out of the country. We need it for the downstream industry, which is where we're making the money. So what we need to do is develop that solar farm that you talked about since 2018. So, and why? Because if you did that, you would be able to use the energy that it produces to provide electricity, which has the first call on our natural gas. Then this gentleman came from Europe, and he said that the Southwest Peninsula, there's a wind tunnel that they are doing it in Europe that could produce about, I don't want to exaggerate, but a significant amount of energy. And what is the purpose of that? What they're doing in Europe, what they're doing in Jamaica, what they're doing in many countries is they are using this, what you call this renewable energy, and diverting it, using that for the electricity for TNTech or TNTech. And what you could then do is divert that natural gas to the downstream industries by producing more renewable energy. You're there 9 years and you didn't do it. Don't tell me you're going to do it.
Right. So Karen, Denzel, you got your answer.
Not wrong. And we are
yeah, Denzel.
And oh, by the way, they closed down the refinery,
right,
and paying $500,000 a month, I don't know to whom, to keep it, to take care of the equipment, which you say you call it scrap metal, and you said that is 101 years old, and that is not true. Some of it is that old, but a lot of it was not that old, as an excuse to close it down. And what are we doing? Under the Freedom of Information Act, the OWTU was able to get the information on how much we are paying hundreds of millions of dollars, 340 million, I think, for 2 months alone, importing fuel that the refinery used to produce, the aviation fuel, the diesel, all the fuel that now we have to import, using up the foreign exchange in order to pay it. And Mr. George, Newman George, who is the head of Aparia, must be out of sheer frustration, had the papers, get a copy of the letter he wrote to the Minister of Finance and telling him about 2 years ago, there are ships outside there with fuel that will not deliver it because we have not been able to pay. So we are, instead of producing the fuel, all those fuel, because we shut down the refinery, we are spending hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign exchange because they don't want our monopoly money. They want the US dollars. That US is still king. And we are paying that and close it. And then you say you want to reopen it. And so you see, make it a mess. Make it a mess. You want to tell me that he should be Minister of Energy, a Minister of Energy? That cannot be. I mean, that has to be incompetence.
But not only that.
Imagine what you will say about me after, because he had enough to say about me. But allow me to tell him I don't really care what he thinks of me, because I have succeeded quite a bit, Mr. Young, and I'm sure you may have used one of my books while you were a student.
But Karen, you didn't address this. But I'm gonna get back to this. But you didn't address this when you were running for political leader. Of the PNM. He addressed you, Boynes and Barrack, as termites and potongs, and you didn't want to address it. But
I still ain't going to.
Yeah, but anyway, here is a question for you, Miss Karen. Stuart Young keeps saying, wait and see what Team PNM can do. Can that be taken as a threat, or we might see improvement? But what exactly we have got for the last 9 to 10 years?
The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And if I have to judge his mannerisms, which he has taken on from the Prime Minister, but in a more elevated accent, if I am to judge that as any indication of what the PNM can do when they were red and ready, that I have absolutely no confidence in him, because I just showed you facts are a terrible thing, because the facts are facts. If you don't like the facts, show me what I said there that wasn't true. And why couldn't you be creative enough? What he did, and that's why the person said what they're saying, I expect. He unitized 2, 3, and 4, in which we only had investment in one of the trains, and gave us a 10% share in this unitized train. so that what was happening in that way, we could have more control, just in case when they send the LNG out and then all of a sudden it changes price. Well, we will now know and we will benefit from the price. That must be what they say. But there's so much more that he could have done and should have done. And, anyway, I don't want to be seen like I'm knocking him or anything. So, because it really is not personal to him. It's just that the whole way in which the prime minister went about it, it was more like if we are living in a monarchy that has a dictatorship, not in a democratic republic. Just like what they tried to with the local government election. You must read the Privy Council decision. They give them some good buff. They tell them, listen, you cannot extend the life of the current aldermen and councillors from 3 to 4 years. The current ones, not in the future. The current ones. It is not your responsibility, not the electorate, much less the government, to do so. This country is a democratic republic. That's why the Privy Council had to remind the Ministry of Local Government when they tried to do that in Trinidad. So if that is what we have to look forward to, that is why the country is in fear, both in the crime. How many murders with this so-called state of emergency? How many murders already? And not only that, the state of the economy, the cost of 43% food prices, according to Dr. Hussain. He said since 2015, and that's about 6 months ago, he said, food prices went up by 43%. You go in the supermarket, you see tomatoes for $49, about 6 tomatoes for $49. I know food has gone up in price, but something is terribly wrong where food prices are going up, salaries have not gone up, and you are not creating opportunities, which we have spoken about. It's not just we have spoken about the cultural tourism. We have spoken about agri and agriculture. We have spoken about researching the International Financial Center. I don't know if people know, but at the time we actually had the gentleman who drafted the International Financial Center legislation for Ireland, which if you listen to the new Al Jazeera for one, it is doing extraordinarily well. He was in my office drafting that legislation. So and look at Jamaica, the campaign finance legislation, 9 years you wouldn't pass it, you must know why. But in Jamaica, they pass it. When they talk of the Economic Advisory Board, in 2 tools that collapsed. And in Jamaica, they passed legislation that you have to pay attention to what they say. If you have a fiscal plan, we cannot tell you what to do, but we can monitor it and we can report on it. What has this government done in relation to that? And also, when you're dealing with crime, you say that you have to give the police to do it, the defense to do it, and whoever else is supposed to do it. The BBC, everybody says the transnational organizations operating in Trinidad. If everything mash up, 4 out of the 5 scanners mash up, according to the Mr. Major Daniel. If these hostile ships not working, if the helicopters not working, if the bays, the manual bays, only 3 out of the 19 bays are being used. If all of these things are happening, if the CCTV cameras not working properly, if the cars mashing up in 2 twos, what's the point? You're just throwing money and giving contracts, and the crime rate just going up. This year is the worst. Last year was the worst on record.
So
Karen,
on the government again.
Karen,
is that lady who you know what that remind me of? I have to say it, an abused woman. You get so much abuse, like you're thinking, and you say, but they tell you leave. You say, no, God, you won't treat me better next year. I think you'll get better. You get better.
Karen, what are your thoughts about the rejection of the Afri-Exim Bank in Trinidad?
The what bank?
The Afri-Exim Bank.
I was out of the country about 3 weeks. That's my go-to excuse. But it's an African bank, right?
Yeah, the Afri-Exim Bank.
They must have a reason, and I'm sure it's not a good one. I'm sure it's not a good one. Listen, let me tell you, once you've been in politics, let me tell you, see, you learn to add up 1 and 1 and make 2, And I don't want anybody to come after me. So I make sure that all I say is what I read in the papers. But one thing I know, they try to make that man's murder, what's his name? The lawyer Randall.
The attorney.
Hector. Yes, Randall Hector. Try to make it look as if they're going after state prosecutors. All the time, the DPP asking you for a prosecutor, you can't give it to him. Years and years, you can't give it to him. Right? You're trying to make people believe that. The babies, but what's her name? The senior counsel, Pamela Elder, came out and said he was not prosecuting that case. But you know what he was? He had been a legal advisor to the SSA, the same SSA that they fired Best, the same SSA that was planning a coup, and the same SSA, Mr. Daniel, who was murdered. And now you want to say we must protect state prosecutors to try to make people believe, those who want to drink that Kool-Aid, who want to drink the Kool-Aid and believe that, I don't know why he was killed, but I was sure it wasn't because of prosecuting that gentleman, because Pamela came out straight out and said I was not so. And if you read the article in, I think it was the Express, you can come to your own conclusion over that. So, Mr. Young, with all due respect, we've seen enough to know that we can't have you all there anymore.
So, Karen, here's a question, right? And there might be one or two calls. Do you think, this is from Volsang, do you think in light of obvious pressure being put on the 9 who voted against Young initially, there may be some bowing out as we approach a general election?
Bowing out?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean by bowing out?
He's talking about the 9 that voted against Stuart Young, even though they voted for Stuart Young now. But after the general, no. Yeah. So I don't understand.
What you're saying. Okay, but what I'm saying is that one of them would be Penny Beckers. That would be a real foolish move, because if they want to lose the election, take Penny out. Then they will Penny is very popular and she's very loved. And if he takes Penny out of the running, you're already on shaky ground. You have already, people are very angry about the way in which you are determined to get your own way. And I can't remember the name of the others, but what I do know is one of them would be very that would be a very bad move to make, is to think of moving Penny. It's too close up to now. That's how I read it. Up to now. Tomorrow is another day, but up to now, moving Penny and not giving her a seat would be a very, very foolish thing to do. And I can't speak for the other 8. What might happen? I don't know. Maybe they get punished by not getting a good, that's politics, It's not only PNM. I mean, it's true of a lot of parties. That politics is a nasty game, you know what I mean? If they feel you're not loyal to them, they might not give you a ministerial portfolio. They might make you a backbencher. I don't know, but that's not peculiar, in all fairness, to the PNM. Is true of all parties that they tend to do that. They tend to punish you. I don't know if that will happen, but I guess that's why everybody capitulated. And we'll see undermining. Somebody said, Karen, yes, undermining.
Karen, I don't know.
That is not true. It went up. The person said murder rate.
Karen, 1 minute.
Right.
1 minute. 568 murders. How could it end? I know it was over 550. That was under what's his name?
When I was there, 2008.
Yes, 550.
It was true.
You see the kind of information these people don't even.
But they are not telling the truth about the 99. But what they're not telling the truth about the 99. The numbers were going up from 100 and something and kept creeping up. But they are right until the 604 about 2 years ago. That is when the highest numbers came. And they're also right to say that when UNC was in power, because I did look at the figures, because you can look it up right now, you can look it up easier than me. The TTPS, they have the years.
No, I have the numbers here. I have the numbers here. I don't have.
What are they saying? Read out.
Okay.
I would like to hear.
Under the UNC in 2010 it was 485.
That's right.
2011 was 354.
Right.
2012 was 383.
Right.
2013 was 408.
That's right.
2018 was 403. And
Right.
2016 was 410. That was a shared.
That's correct. That is
between them
correct.
and the UNC. So when they are saying these type of information, and what kind of upsets me, Karen, it really does. You can support the PNM all you want. You have a right to support whichever party you want. But at least do a little homework.
No, they do their homework, disinformation.
Here we go.
Disinformation. And they hope that you cannot counter that disinformation. But listen, people, you know everybody have a laptop? Go on your laptop and do it now for yourself too now. And you'll find it, you don't have to listen to nonsense.
We have a PNM person in here. Just be always in here. You know what he just said? I'm not using Google. He said he's not using Google. That's what he said.
Okay.
He ain't using Google.
Yes, so they can go to the Central Statistical Office. That's where the central bank uses to follow to their data. The Ministry of Labor and the different ministries to collect their data. I mean, what are they saying? So who you believe then? Read the monetary report from the central bank. Mr. Hilaire, who was given a 3-year contract instead of 5 years. And by the way, the former central bank governor, who is no friend of mine, I'm not picking up him, but Mr. Imbert, they were found that his firing was unlawful. It was a wrongful dismissal, and they had to pay millions of dollars. Not as much as he asked for, but he was given millions of dollars for wrongful dismissal by Mr. Imbert, when apparently Mr. Imbert was not pleased with him. And after that, each central bank governor no longer has a 5-year term, he has a 3-year term. All with the intention of keeping control. People, you know, I admit until 2000, just the other day, the highest murder rate was in 2008. I have said it many times, but it is also true, in all fairness, for what, I don't know what the reason was, because at that time I was, in all fairness, under the UNC, the numbers were in the 400s. That is a fact. And then after that, I think when what's his name? Mr. Young. Yeah, but no, Mr. Young took over as Minister of National Security. I think the last figure was about 475, because remember there was a minister before him. And then it started climbing. And then it went down in 2020.
Here are the numbers. 2016, 463. 2017, 494. 2018, 500.
That's when he was there. How much it was?
2018, 516.
Right.
2019, 538. 2020, you know when that is? 396.
Public, right. It went
2021, 448.
And then he left there. And then in 2021, he left the Ministry of National Security and went to
Minister of Energy,
where he's making up, where his performance is no better.
Yeah, or even worse.
Yeah, worse. It's terrible. And you know, and what I would say is, when you want to say anything, I do not mind if you come with facts, and I will apologize, or I will say I was wrong. You have to have the ability to be truthful to the country and have the confidence. Yes, the confidence to do that. But when you want to go down into the gutter, it tells me how your mind operates. It gives me an indication of who I think. I don't want you in charge of me at all. It's like bringing somebody. If my mother had no husband, and she brings a man in the house and he cusses and gets it on, I would beg my mother to get rid of that man, you know.
All right. Someone says, let's take this call. Caller, you have a quick question for Karen, Mr. Karen, Mr. Tesheira?
Yeah, good night.
Go ahead.
Mr. Tesheira.
Yeah.
One quick question, and you know, the fact is, Mr. Young and Dr. Rob have told people are hypocrites. The issue here is going forward in 2025. If the election is called, whether between let's say July and let's say November, My question is, I don't think our country could survive under Stuart Young and Dr. Rowley as the puppet master. I think, and I've said this with to Professor Walsh and Uncle Tommy, is that I think if it's possible that the Hope, as well as other parties, I know you guys have some sort of talks with the NTA as well as the opposition, Mrs. Bisesa Prasad. I am asking you humbly to see what can be done to have a proper accommodation if possible, better than the Faizabad Accord of 2010, because you cannot underestimate the power of incumbency and the PNM. People are, unfortunately, they have what is called, I call it political Stockholm syndrome with the PNM. They will vote for the oppressor, they will vote for the 1%, and this is a game of inches. Anything can play, and although the opposition and the other parties may have a possibility of winning, you cannot underestimate the PNM in Tobago. You cannot underestimate the
all right,
PNM in Tobago.
let Karen answer. Let Karen answer.
Stockholm syndrome, you know what happened to Patsy Hughes, right? But we won't go into that because there are many people who probably don't even know that. So to answer your question, what would it, and that's what made me join the Hope actually, yeah? Because I said, okay, let me see what they really will do and stop, the talk. So one of the things I've said it on other shows, one of the two major things that we're dealing with is the economy and the crime situation. So let's just deal first with the crime situation. One of the things is having a firearms court. Why the firearms court? Well, for two reasons. Most of the murders that we see committed on the streets are done with unlicensed guns, and it is connected with gang warfare in general. Also, too, there is a backlog of 20, 30, I had the figures before, about 30, 40,000 of ballistic testing, right? Which is why the rate of, detection is so low. So what would we do? A firearms court, which Jamaica has, and they had their issues starting it up with the Privy Council, but they finally got it right. What you will do is, if you are found in possession of a firearm that is not licensed, because the FUL, that division would have the license that they granted, then the burden of proof will be on you to explain how you became in possession of it. And if you cannot give a good and reasonable, a believable, because it's a criminal matter, then you are looking at a jail term of 15 years. So that's one way of getting the guns off the street very easily. You don't have to have 101 witnesses. In fact, the witness is the gun and you trying to, and once the FUL chart come back and say, we do not have this gun license, then you have to explain how you got it. And if you can't explain it, then you go into jail. That's one. Secondly, the DPP office is severely understaffed. That is the prosecutorial arm. We need them to have not only lawyers, we have hundreds of lawyers in this country. We need to staff that department. We also need to staff a department dealing with white-collar crime and have them in a different, house them differently and send them for training, bring people for training, because we have a lot of money laundering, which is dealing with a lot of the crime we're seeing on the streets. Another thing we can do, this is something we are doing immediately, I'm dealing with the crime situation. So that's the firearms court. That is giving the DPP the necessary staffing in order to deal with the crime situation. Another thing that has to be dealt with, which I don't know if we have ready, because we haven't really, to be frank with you, the issue of how are we going to ensure the maintenance of all of these equipment that the government awards contracts for that break up in a short period of time. There must be a body or persons that have responsibility for every month to give an account for it. Elected president, you're seeing what is happening with that elected president. The salary review committee issue is the latest example where she has benefited a lot, and she's the one that elected himself. I'm not attacking her. It is the thing. So we need to have an elected president rather than a president appointed effectively by the prime minister. This is the electoral college, the it is the leading party. So you have a fixed term of office. You should have, and also a fixed date for the election. Just like in America, you know, I think it's the first Monday in November that you have elections. So they can't come and pull it out of their back pocket when they think it suits them to call an election. Call election when it is due. Then you create certainty like that. When you're dealing with the economy, definitely there is great opportunity for this to let the entrepreneurial. Everybody started small. Some of them get big. Well, I don't want to go and say how they get big. But what I'm saying is there's so much opportunity in the cultural tourism, Airbnb. Have someone train them with that. We have we also have Parang. We have the Calypso, steel band. We can have steel band factories and people selling I know people who do it already, selling the steel bands, properly packaged with a little booklet about the steel and meaning home of Trinidad and Tobago. To have something to say, you can teach lessons and get in touch with www.whoever with the steel band, right? There are so many opportunities. Mauritius did it when sugar collapsed and they were no longer getting the preferential treatment. They turned to cultural tourism because they have a similar population to us, 1.3 million they have, I think, and a similar kind of ethnic mix, and they have utilized that mix, the chutney, the food, the drink, oh my gosh, the Americans. I'm sure many people don't even know about the Americans. The Temple by the Sea. Barbados is going to, sorry, I'm not bad talking about Barbados. I like Barbados. But what I'm trying to say, we have so much here that we can do, and everybody can get a piece of the action, from the taxi drivers to the farmers who producing for the hotels, for the Airbnb, the small man who has a home and he has a 2-room and he turns it to Airbnb, but you have to train them. You have to train people to do it well. You also have the agriculture. They're talking about CARICOM with Guyana, saying that by 2025, they'll produce 25% of their food. We can do that in Trinidad with the Trinitario chocolates from the cocoa that is known world renowned. There's so much opportunity. And so with rum-based products, we can start. I heard some countries starting growing sugar, but we'll grow the sugar for what? Just like what they do in Barbados. They grow it for the rum, but we don't just want to buy rum. We want a very elegant, upscale thing. There are so many opportunities for the small man to get a piece of the action, to create revenue, to have a sense of self and self-worth, and turn them around. And the rich can continue to do well, but share the wealth. Those are opportunities that are waiting to be. And then I thought about the energy sector, but using other means of producing energy so that we can take the natural gas and divert it more to the petrochemical industries. And also within the petrochemical industry, you can also have bunkering. Remember, we are outside the hurricane path, even Tobago percents. So we can develop the sun, sand, and sea, and their antiquities in Tobago, but we can focus. People are traveling now for experience, cultural experience. We have the roti, we have the pela, we have the kalu, we have the black pudding, we have the bulgur, you name it. You go to America for breakfast, what they're giving you waffles and pancakes and bacon, and I don't mean any offense to them, but that's them. We have that. We have sada roti. We have pumpkin choker. Listen, but what you have to do, what is key to all of that, you cannot do it like if we're in the 1960s. You cannot do it that way. You have to do it in an elegant, upscale way. You package it well. You pull it together well, and you have people. We have people like the Minchells, and I'm going to call her name Diane Hunt. I said, Diane, if I ever had the power to put you in charge of it, Diane did not give me permission to call her name, but I'm saying she has such high standards, and that's all they need, the direction. That is what we will do, and we will ask, listen, we clearly cannot deal with the drug trade. BBC had a report and told us that the major cause of our crime, like the government don't know it, is the transnational shipment of cocaine. It was just in the papers about a week ago. I pulled up the article, right? So if it is that we have to ask the United States to assist us more directly so that we can get that under control. Also, I have to say this because this is something that our political leader is very strong on, and I didn't know it before. He said, and I looked it up, and it is true, in the education of children, it should not start from 3 to 5. It's from 0 to 3, because they say between 0 to 3, billions of neurons that are connecting are being formed, and that is the key time for the for starting the education of the children. So in education, you have the 0 to 3 approach. That is one of the things. I mean, there's so much. And listen, the campaign financialization, we will pass that legislation, else I will not be part of HOPE if they don't pass it.
So Karen, we want to get some quick questions that people have here, right? And we want to see how much questions we can take. What some people want to know, what is the status with regards to HOPE and the opposition? What's the current status?
Okay, I'm not a political leader, so you have to understand that I cannot speak on behalf of the political leader. That would be very wrong. I mean, it's like if it was Mr. Manning, I mean, I would be out of place. What I will say is this. My best answer is that we do have a strategy. I think Timothy Hammersmith is a lawyer of high repute. He's head of one of the largest commercial law firms in the country, has dealt with huge transactions. And he is our political leader. So we are very well aware of the errors of creating any kind, well, we're not creating a coalition, because a coalition only comes if you are in a position to form a government. You can come together. Before, it will only be an alliance. What we are looking at, and this is where HOPE's position is, and I can say that truthfully, that HOPE's position, and we have a policy document, those things that I spoke about are near and dear to HOPE's and near and dear to my heart. And I am prepared, as I am confident that Timothy Hammersmith and all the leaders and people who will then join us, and others who I can't speak about at this moment, and we also have the NTA, we need to get rid of the PNM. For now, I want to say this, and I'm being frank. Listen, they need to sit down. Somebody gave me that expression, and I'm not a sports person, but they say you have to go on the bench. They need to regroup, because they are a danger to themselves and to the country. The country knows that. You can feel it. I meet people who you would never think. I'm talking about the man in the street, who you think are PNM till they're dead. My mother about PNM. I swing in the Balize. And these are the people. I come up to me after the other day. I was in LSE Park, one of the good people that work there. I hope I'm not causing that person any problem. But I go in the grocery, people you would hardly think. And they tell you, when they'll get rid of these people, they don't care about us. They don't care about us. They just want us to stay at the bottom. We still CPRP. We still, it better be under colonial government. How are they treating us? Why we can't? It's like if we're not capable, and it is not true. It is not true. There are so many capable, but what they are not doing. That is why America is called the land of opportunity. The opportunity in this country is given to a few people. That is the reality. And I am telling you that I would not be in HOPE. I will walk out of HOPE tomorrow morning. You hear me? Because I have no reason to be doing this to myself. I have children and grandchildren who I love and care about. And I have achieved a lot for a woman, I think, and as a woman, I think I've achieved a lot. I don't have anything to prove, but what I have to prove is the love of my country. And I have been inside of there, and I understand how they operate. Take it from me. There are people inside of there I cannot call names, but I don't want to get misled. It's not because it's not true, because it's true. It's true. And what I'm saying is true, but I cannot call names. I will not call names. But I can tell you, there are people inside of there who want to be high and mighty and talk to people as if about, people having morals and ethics. They're the last persons to talk about it. They're the last persons to talk about it. And okay. I am telling you that if I have any say in this country, and to help our people, the people of this country that I love so much, all my education. I say, I could have go and study, you know, like a lot of my brothers and sisters. I beg my father to let me stay in Trinidad.
So, Karen,
Right?
here's the next question, right? Someone says, Miss Karen, we have
Yes.
been hearing about this alleged PNM mafioso code, Cosa Nostra. Was that code in effect under Patrick Manning government?
Well, I would not be able to say that, and I would be very, first of all, I would not be able to say that. And even if I did know that, I would not say it. I would not say because I put myself at risk. These people are not jokers. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, whoever is operating it. The Mr. Bloomfield, I think is his name, when Dana was killed, and they tried to do like the same they're doing with this Miss Randall Hector, to try to say prosecution. Oh God, try something different, man. When Dana was killed, I mean, I won't call the name, whoever would call me, but I think they were trying to see what I would have said, because Dana and I were extremely close at the time. She was a family friend, extraordinarily close. I don't know if that had anything to do with why they called me, but they said to me, you think they killed her because of the Nyman Coolman case? I said, what are you talking about? And I did not say this. I did not say this. I think his name is Mr. Brownfield or Brownfield. I think his name is. He is the deputy director of drugs and something in the United States, DEA. And he was visiting Trinidad for a short while. And a few days after he left, Dana was executed. And he said, not me, not Karen Tesheira, he said that Dana Sita's murder was not a case of a pocketbook, because Americans say pocketbook instead of handbags, like we say. It was not a case of trying to steal a pocketbook, but it was a transnational organization with, I don't know if he said with roots, but with a presence in Trinidad and Tobago. And then he said, I have nothing more to say. So all I am saying to you is that any involvement I have in Hope, and I think Mr. Manning, all I will say is this is what I will say. I don't know, I can't talk about what you just said, and I'm not going to say because I really don't know, and he probably kept me ignorant about it and for my own good, and I'm glad he did. But what I can say is this. He did say to me, he says, you know what, why are we letting the drugs reach on land? Because that's how the gangs proliferate. What we have to do is create a Chinese wall. So what he was trying to do, as I understood it, because a lot of it fell under my ministry, the financial intelligence unit, we were bringing in somebody from, they'd actually brought the people to see me from Washington to bring a head of the FIU who was not from Trinidad or the Caribbean, but had been in charge of one in Central America, similar to what we wanted to set up, and it had been highly successful. And we were thinking that that would be the person to head up the FIU. Then when it came to the gambling, which our current Minister of Finance in either second or first budget speech said that Trinidad and Tobago has the highest number of private member clubs in the world, which is the casinos which are proliferated, which everybody knows is a means of money laundering. And there's every street corner, there's a form of these gambling casinos and stuff. He was passing legislation after pressure. There was pressure initially. I was not in government at the time, but there was pressure on him not to close it down. They brought out, they brought out the mummies and the girls with the babies and said the children wouldn't get milk to drink and so on. And so he pulled back, but he said he had a sunset clause. And I was in policy formulation committee. I mean, that's headed by the Prime Minister. And we were closing down the gambling because the gambling wasn't about people in Trinidad getting hooked on gambling, which is, you can't get an addiction. It's because it was being used as a well-known worldwide as a means of money laundering. So the gambling was one of the things we're dealing with. The FIU was another thing. The Revenue Authority, which would give us much more control than we had, as opposed to them staying within the public service and in hiring, firing, and all of that. The Revenue Authority was another thing. And of course, you had poker, yeah, the Ministry of National Security, headed up by who died, unfortunately. So it was, and then all the OPVs that he was buying, all the ships he was buying, all these scanners, all these things. It was what he was trying to do, as I understood it. Instead of leaving the house without burglar proofing, a guard dog, a guard, he was putting all these things in place. So you would leave that house alone and say, see that house? You leaving that house alone, yes? Let's go buy a house that have no burglar proofing, no guard dog, no guards. That looked like a better thing. So instead of going after, as I understood it, the so-called big fish, you want to deal with the product not reaching its destination and making it unattractive to pass it through here. And all those measures, as I understood it, were all in an effort for him when he left government as prime minister to deal with something that he felt was one of our major problems. But of course, that did not materialize.
Okay, let's take this call. Caller, welcome. Caller, you have a question? What's your question?
Good afternoon. I have a question to you, Wall Street. Good afternoon, Ms. Karen, Tesheira, Tommy, callers, everybody. Wall Street, I've been seeing questions. I saw questions before all these questions that Ms. Nunez are answering, and you good to call them out. And that's it. I'm listening for those questions. I think they were just short and pertinent.
Yeah, well, I gotta get to them. I'm getting to them.
I'll be short. I haven't read them. I will listen to the question.
I have them here, and I'm getting to them.
Yes, so long as Wall Street keep you long.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Go on long, Mr. Let them go until after 10. Thanks a lot.
All right. So one of the questions here from Marjorie. Who do you think? No, I have the questions right in front here. Who do you think the next? Who do you think will be the energy minister after Young moves to his role as PM?
But that's an assumption that the PNM wins the election, right? But the person I think would be a good minister is Kevin Cameron the Rhine. If I had a choice,
no, Karen. No, when he moves to PM, who's going to replace him as the Minister of Energy before the general election?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think that's the question.
He might keep it. I mean, the Prime Minister kept the Ministry of Finance, didn't he? So I don't see, and then your minister, and then your Prime Minister became Minister of Housing for about 8 or 9 months when they were building the 5,500 houses with the Chinese. And he signed a framework agreement. He didn't sign it, but a framework agreement was signed and they had to scrap it because it was. So I don't know that he wouldn't hold on to it for a few months. Okay. I can't see that. And plus, too, you know why he probably would want to do that? I mean, to be fair to him, he's worked tirelessly, or so it seems, to try to achieve the Dragon Field, I think, is the one thing that he wanted to achieve. So I don't think he's going to give it up until he has to.
Okay, so here's the next one from Caribbean. So, Ms. Karen, who makes the decision on MP getting protection from the state with security and state vehicles? Because I have seen Stuart Young have a full security protection as an energy minister.
But that is very strange because I don't know, I am not part of this government, but I do know this. When Mr. Manning was the prime minister, he took great umbrage to ministers having these security details and the blue lights flashing. He said, according to his view, was that they wanted to give themselves status, wanted to feel important, and wanted to feel, you know, as the people might say, big in the dance. So he absolutely refused to allow any of the ministers, except himself as prime minister. I think the governor of the central bank was accorded that, and the chief justice was accorded that. But other than that, if you were a minister, you certainly did not get it. I did not get it, and I was not aware of any minister who got that because the prime minister felt it was used as a means of giving a sense of importance and status, and he did not support it. Okay, so I do not know who is responsible. It has to be the prime minister. He's the only one that could agree.
Right. So our friend Denzel Alexander says, we're not buying crude oil that was using up Forex. So he come back. He's the one with the question that talked about, you know, when you stated about Stuart Young. He says we are not buying crude oil that was using up Forex. So this is what he's saying.
I'm not quite sure what he's trying to say, because what we have been doing for many, many years, since the oil production, because remember when I started, I started when he was saying it would go back further. But what happened is the refinery was built to accommodate refining at least 144, 150 barrels of oil per day to produce these different, and it's not only oil, but other products like bitumen for the lake asphalt, which is why your roads are in a mess, right? There's a number of other products they were doing. So what they were doing, they were importing the oil and refining it. That's why it's called a refinery. And they refined it. And when they refined it, what they did, part of it was utilized for our purposes, for aviation, diesel, gasoline, and the rest we sold in the region, I expect, for US dollars. So one of the things they have said is the use of the foreign exchange prior to the closure of the refinery, other than 1 year, I think, when they had some issue, which I can't recall. I want to be fair. I don't want to say anything that's not right. They never, I was told, ever borrowed money, and all the foreign exchange that was produced from the refining was produced from the refinery. It was not from the central bank. That is my understanding. And with the closure of the refinery, we have to import it. So we are utilizing foreign exchange to pay for that same
right.
fuel.
So previously we didn't have to do that. Now we have to go to
No, we did not.
Right, in order to get
we produced it.
So here is our next question. I don't understand this question, but someone asked it. IU Wall Street. Can you ask about the PNM faction that met with the UNC in Barbados, according to Manon? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know
what faction that met with the
the PNM faction that met with the UNC in Barbados, according to Manon. I don't know.
Well, let me just say, he says according to Manon. Let's just say I don't want to comment on that.
Okay. All right.
You take it to mean what you think you want it to mean.
Okay. Let me see if there's any other one here. Is Hope still in talks with UNC?
I don't think we're in talks with UNC. We're not in talks with UNC, you know. I mean, I don't want to be out of place with the political leader. We have an alliance, and it does not include the UNC. You know, and I'm not saying that we are in talks with the UNC at all.
So who's the alliance? It's Hope, NTA,
it's Hope, NTA,
COP,
and well, it was COP, but you know what's going on there. You know, it's unclear what's going on there, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but that's politics. But insofar as the UNC is concerned, I have never, I as a member, as a deputy political leader of Hope, I have never met with anybody from UNC.
So you have not attended any talks on behalf of Hope with UNC?
No, I've never done that. And I think I don't want to speak for the political leaders, so let me be careful about any discussion about that. But to say
no,
that
you. Right, we just
well, as a member of the Hope, and I can't imagine that it'd be difficult for me to say that if I'm a deputy political leader of Hope, that
there was a meeting and you wasn't there. There's a meeting
right.
with you.
So if you're saying that it met with UNC, that I would be very surprised. I would like to say categorically no. That would be the answer.
Okay, so caller, you have a quick question for Karen?
Yes, good night to you, good night to you, Wall Street. Good night to you, Uncle Tony, and good night to you, Mrs. Tesheira.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheriff, the Hope with the NTA would not go in office next general election. It's either the People's National Movement or the United National Congress. The way how I hear you speak tonight.
But COP, what is the question? What is the question you have?
This whole thing is the question over here.
Okay.
This whole thing is the question coming in. The way how I hear you speak over here tonight, I give you 10 out of 10. But if because I listen to Caribbean Soul message right through,
And I know what she put on the tall boots already, Uncle Tony put on the tall boots, and I realized Miss Nunez Tesheira put on the tall boots to tiptoeing.
What do you mean by that?
With your
What do you mean?
quality of
I tell you.
speaking,
Yeah.
if you don't support the UNC for this general election, Hope and NTA would not do it by themselves. And with how well you speaking there, I would like to see you supporting the UNC and close to the United National Congress, because the question coming now, the 5 years Kamala Prasad Bisesa stay in office, and the 10 years the PNM in office right now, how would you rate Kamala 1 to 10 and People's National Movement leader by Rowley from 1 to 10? That's my question. And if you're not with the UN,
So I'll answer you as briefly as I can.
All right.
I said that we are not in any conversation with the UNC. This is the question. If we have been in conversation with the UNC thing, and yes, you have quite a valid point you have made that the NTA and the Hope as new parties will have a challenge to say that they could wipe out and get 21 seats. That does not mean that they cannot have a significant impact in a real way on the outcome, and we hope that would be so. And no pun intended, but of course I cannot see into the future. But that is the hope that we will be able to make a difference. But we shall see how it all works out at the end of the day.
Okay, here's the last question, Karen, from Caribbean Soul. Question, Miss Karen, let's say Hope, the coalition team, not win. What will be the next move? Will you take the votes and go home, or will you use it wisely to remove the PNM?
Well, it's, you know, I to the person, and in all fairness, I used to use the term coalition very loosely, right? And what we have is an alliance. An alliance is a coming together of like-minded persons who have similar principles and outlook as how they want to see the country governed. If you win, at the end of an election has come to, the results have been published, and no party has a clear win. And that's what's happening in Europe all the time now. And in fact, you know, just as an aside, you know, we do not have, another thing we do not support is the first past the post. We do not agree that is right, because you are leaving out half of the country and shutting them out and silencing them every year. So that in a way, a coalition which can only be formed after, if a party does not have a clear majority, has to be one which you work out in the best interest of the country, and can only happen after an election. That's the only time. And if I go back to the PNM, well, the thing about it is, you know, I'm not a grasshopper, and if I were a person looking on at me, I would say, what's wrong with you? What does she want? She want to go from one party to the next party, the next party, the next party. She really not serious. I can't do that in good conscience. I wouldn't do that in good conscience. I started by praising Mr. Manning, and I will never take it away. The issue is the leadership, and the leadership has not changed. And I think it would be wrong on my part to having, because take up my Georgie bundle, pout, and run back to the thing. If I were them, I would kick me out and say, what you coming back here for now? It didn't work out for you coming back here. So you just like power or what? No, I wouldn't do that.
Karen, what we're going to do, let me play this 5-second closing thing, and then we're going to get your closing words, okay? 5 seconds. Folks will be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Back with you is In the Village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, Mrs. Karen Nunez, Tesheira, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. Folks, just put your closing comments in the chat and your closing voice notes in WhatsApp. Karen, I want to say thank you so much for taking this so much time to join us. Every time you have joined us, it's always been a very constructive and informative discussion. And next time we have you back, we want to talk about hope. And we want this to come back to you. We want to talk about exactly hope. And we want to get some more concrete answers regarding the coalition, because many of us believe the only way we're going to defeat the PNM is through the smaller parties coming together with the UNC in order to put the PNM on the bench for the next decade.
That can only happen after an election. Difference, that's what the point I made. An alliance is what's happening now. After the elections, of course, my view, that's not only my view as a member of a political party, but it is my personal view that it is not in the country's interest, based on leadership that we have. And not only Dr. Olu is resigning, but his little clique that he has around him. I mean, it is not in the interest of the man in the street, the persons who want to see equality and equity, all the things that they talk about in the constitution, to have the PNM win election. They need to take some time out, in my respectful opinion, and we will only be going further down. I would not like to see this country under them. I fear for Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. So Caribbean Soul said it's not about going back to the PNM. It's about giving votes to the ANC to remove the PNM.
But it's not about, that's the thing, people go and talk about, maybe in my younger days, I would have probably wanted to say, oh, you have to get rid of this one, you have to get rid of. I mean, I'm at a stage in my life, maybe that's part of it, where all you want is what is good for the country. You love the country, you live in it, you have children, I have grandchildren who I love dearly. I want to see that when I'm not here, that I made a difference or tried to make a difference for Trinidad and Tobago. So whatever we do and whatever is the outcome, it's not about removing one or the other. It's doing what is best for the country. And what is best for the country is the PNM cannot win the election, because this country cannot afford to have another 5 years of them.
So Karen, see if you can answer this very quickly. What are your views on proportional representation as a political system? I really don't think you could answer that very quickly.
Well, that's part of what Hope supports, and that's what they do in Guyana. That's what they do in Ghana, And you see why it is important is that we inherited our constitution using the Westminster model. You could use the Westminster model there, where it is first past the post, when you have a homogeneous population, meaning that nearly everybody was white, although now you're getting other people. So it wasn't what it is in Trinidad. In Trinidad, because people still tend to vote along racial or ethnic lines, it causes tensions within the country that are unnecessary, and it makes half of the population, whether it's the Afro or whether it's the Indian, feel angry, feel resentful, and it doesn't help to build unity in the country. Proportional representation allows everyone carefully. When you have me on Hope, I will have my document in front of me, so that you have a representation similar to what they have in Ghana already, or that you make sure at the end of the day that everyone's voice, when I say not everyone, I mean not only the voices of the people are heard, and they have a say in how the country runs, and they are not shut out based, unfortunately, on the matter of race, which is how we tend to conduct our elections.
Okay, Rock, I just asked a question. So Karen, I want to thank you so very much. He put that question. Can I get in my question, bro? His question is, what are your views?
Rock, I will answer Rock's question.
No. He says, no, you just answer it. You just answer it.
I did.
I was just telling him that you answered it. So Karen, I want to thank you so very kindly for taking the time to join us. Every time you come in here, you have been splendiferous, marvelous, and splentastic. You have always been very honest, truthful with us, and that's what we appreciate, and that's what we tell people. We here in the village are the facts, the whole facts, and nothing but the facts. People may not like it, but the facts
might not like it.
Yes.
Don't shoot the messenger because you don't like the message.
Yeah. And like our friend was talking about crude oil and spending forex and crude oil, and anyway, that's for next time. Any closing words before you go?
No, I think my computer is about to die, so I do have to go. I enjoyed it. Had a wonderful time. Tom, I didn't hear from you, but you know, all this is love. Yeah, that is what Mr. Manning used to say. He used to say he loved Trinidad. I couldn't understand any time, but I can tell you now, I love Trinidad and Tobago. And all that I do is for Trinidad and Tobago. And I hope that people have heard the message and do what is good for the country and vote for the interests of the country, which means they cannot vote it back that party with that leadership.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Next time we'll talk about hope some more.
Thank you. I will be happy to do that. All right. I'm about to die. But
all right, bye-bye. There we go. So, folks, there you have it. Put your closing comments in the chat. Let me play this voice note here. This voice note was here since early. You know, I mean, let me just play it.
Hi, good evening, members of the village. I've been thinking about this, and I hope that you're in a position to answer, not necessarily answer to me, but ask yourself the same question and answer it. If after your political party wins, and then you get yourself nice contracts and so on, and the money flowing like water, yeah, you're able to pay all these bills and do all these purchases, and it seems as if you know, heaven on earth. You know, God asks a question: what shall it profit a man or woman if he shall gain the whole world and suffer the loss of his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? That could be a little frightening. What do you think? Good night, village.
Okay, Tommy, it's always a pleasure when we have Lucky Lal. Welcome. Okay, I'll take this one. I've known from this person now. I will take them. Mr. Florida, the reason why I take a call, I said I was a call, you know, because we haven't heard from you. That's why I take a call.
Good night, Mr. Anson. Good night, Mr. Tommy. Good night, Tony Colas. I went on vacation in Trinidad now.
Oh, that's what it is. All right.
Yeah. So I was supposed to call you, but oh God, Mr. Anson, Trinidad is not Trinidad again. I will tell you more about it tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say I'm back looking on listening.
All right.
And you the first person out of here is Gordon Joseph. Oh my word.
All right, later.
All right,
Good talk.
all right, later.
Come on. Yeah. You know, Tommy's funny, eh? I was saying to myself, we have to give Mr. Florida a call, you know.
We haven't heard from him.
Yeah, we ain't hear from him in a little bit. You know what I mean? You know, but anyway, folks, put your closing comments in the chat. My closing quote. Let me give my closing quote, Tommy. No, it's not that one. There we go.
Good morning, God. Today is Monday, January 13th, and I start this day by thanking you. Thank you for the weekend that has passed, for the moments of rest, for the achievements, for the smiles shared with those I love, and for everything that has gone right so far, even in the small details I may not have noticed, but still mattered deeply. I place my dreams, fears, insecurities, and challenges for this week in your hands. I know that with you by my side, I can overcome any obstacle. I ask you to guide my steps, illuminate my choices, fill my heart with strength, and grant me resilience in the face of difficulties and uncertainties. I also place my plans, hopes, and desires in your hands, trusting that everything you prepare is always the best. May this Monday be the start of a week filled with faith, peace, gratitude, joy, and courage to keep moving forward with confidence. With you, I am certain that better days are ahead. Amen. Good morning.
From where I said this is it, the clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, and for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. Remember, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Go ahead, Tommy.
These are the words of Bruce Lee, and it goes this way: don't speak negatively about yourself, not even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. change the way you speak about yourself, and you can change your life with your. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing good here. And you can change your life and you can change your life. Let me just leave it right there.
Okay, cool.
Like I always say, you can become the change you the man in the mirror have to be the change you want to see. But if you look in the mirror and don't like what you see, you cannot blame the mirror. Never look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand up. Love you all. Be safe. See you tomorrow, God willing, in the village. Till then, good night.
Thank you, Tommy. Caribbean Soul says, as Wall Streeters say, all. PNM Fox says, Dr. Rowley turned out to be a far better leader than Patrick Manning. I'm just reading these closing comments. Caribbean Soul says, I've been honest, if Karen was going up at Beyonce, I would definitely give a party a vote, but not under Gary Griffith. Closing comment, Patrick Manning, number of murders increased sharply from 99 in 1999 to 509 in 2009. Additionally, 2008 saw the country's highest number of murders with 550. And fellas will go back. They will go as far back as they want to know. Lucky Lal, pleasant good night to all. Alicia Ghani, thanks. I now get the message. Rock Actor says, great answer, Miss K. Caribbean, so at least we have a clear understanding of Cosa Nostra is dangerous. PNM we're dealing with a drug criminal organization. Mr. Intellectual, closing comment is power lies in the arms of those who train the mind to think critically. Okay. So, folks, that's it. We see you tomorrow. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. We are out of here. Later.
Hey, hey, oi, oi. Hey, hey, oi, oi. In Trinidad and Tobago, politics was we and them. That was never meant to be so, according to the anthem. But ethnic insecurity was maintained to divide us by some people in the country to sow the seeds of distrust. But we have fought a new system within the community. Now what used to be we and them has now become only we. From now on this nation is we. From now on it is you and I. From now on it is unity. From now on we flying high. All the races have come together to build a better country and create a brighter future for the whole society. The we and them thing is no more, because it is plain to see in this country from shore to shore the community is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we.